to approve that proposal likely won't happen until April or May. One of the parking lots outside the St. Louis Galleria Mall flooded after a water main break. Video of the pipe bursting outside Dillard's Tuesday shows massive amounts of water pouring into the parking lot. Now, thankfully, the rest of the mall here was not impacted. Earlier in the day, a water main break forced Normandy High School to dismiss students early, and another pipe burst shut down part of Big Bend Boulevard near Manchester in Maplewood. City residents say yet again it is taking longer than it should to clear the streets after this past weekend's snowstorm. City officials say they're focusing on the main routes first and the secondary roads are lower priority. Residents living in North City tell Channel 4 they think there seems to be an unequal services divided along racial and economic lines. In sports, Blues lost to the Stars, marking their 5th loss in a row. SLU, on the other hand, they're having a fantastic season. They've now won 14 games in a row after beating George Washington last night. And unfortunately, Mizzou lost to Alabama, the final score 90-64. All right, our time right now is 5:04. It's 14 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The snowpack and the northwest flow. It is really cold going out the door this morning. Lots of sunshine today, about 29 for the high. Tonight, some clouds. It's cold, 9. Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine and very cold. The high Thursday, only 20, going down to 2 Thursday night. Friday, partly sunny, 15 for the high on Friday, in the 20s over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
14 degrees now, our time 5:05. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any of our other shows here on 97.1 FM Talk. Take us with you anywhere you go, anytime. Just download our free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning to you. It is a Wednesday morning. We're happy you're with us here, the 28th day of January. And boy, you talk about a northwest flow. You heard Dave talking about the weather this morning. It feels like there's a northwest flow in the studio. I didn't expect it. It's cold in here this morning.
I've been wearing a scarf.
A little shocker. No kidding. Usually it gets cold in the middle of the show. Today it's just cold right off the start. I don't know, a little bit of a shocker out there. Kim St. Ange in here alongside Ethan Bride and me, and Sue Thomas along with your traffic in a few minutes. We're happy you're here this morning. Kim, I got a little taste of that reporting stuff again last night. I just have to tell you,
Did
just
you like
right
it?
off the top here. Yeah, here's the thing about it. I went to Kirkwood for the plea deal that they struck in that vandalism case, and I'm standing outside of the Kirkwood Municipal Court, which is the where they hold their city hall meetings and they hold municipal court in there. I hadn't been there in years, and I tried to do a Facebook Live. So I did a Facebook Live that I was outside of the courthouse. And then I went inside the courthouse where it was warm, and I went back and looked at the Facebook Live. And I deleted it immediately because it was so cold that apparently my nose was running. And there was a drip of snot right on the end of my nose, and I could see it. It's all I could focus on in the video. And I'm like, I can't leave this up on the page because everybody's going to be focused on that just like I am. So I had to delete that. And then I went back out in front of the courthouse and I recorded something on my phone, and then I posted that to Facebook. I had to clean it up a little bit. I forgot how rough it is when you have to work outside.
Aren't you so glad? And then the studio is cold this morning, but not nearly as cold as if we had to stand outside on the Tam Avenue Bridge.
Not nearly as cold as standing in a snowbank somewhere. But you know, here's the thing about it is the true tragedy, in my opinion. And I understand that the issue here is not murder or assault or anything like that. It's a vandalism case. The true tragedy of this is that the mainstream media, the local media, never covered this case.
Agreed.
So I talked to Christian Kirk last. I almost called him Charlie. I talked to Christian Kirk last night, and I asked him about that, and he's like, never heard from anybody. not Channel 4, not Channel 2, not Channel 5. And bear in mind that when this happened, when his Tesla was defaced twice, mind you, not once, but twice, and he had the video to prove it, in Kirkwood, it was right in the middle of this happening all across the country, of Teslas being set on fire. As the backdrop for this story, all across the country, that was what was going on. You had Teslas being vandalized, being set on fire, all because of these people on with a opposite political opinion of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and they were mad at Elon because he was supporting Donald Trump. Period. End of discussion. So to take out their frustration, they went out and they vandalized the cars of people who had purchased cars from Elon Musk. So Elon Musk no longer owned the car. Any damage you did to the car didn't hurt Elon Musk because his money's already in the bank. All it hurt were your friends and neighbors who happened to purchase one of these cars.
Who very well could have been liberal and, like you, didn't like Elon Musk, but then liked the Tesla.
Yeah, thank you. So that was the backdrop of that story. That was a huge national story, and suddenly the video goes viral on the YouTube channel where this had been posted by some local Tesla owners, right? This story was hand-delivered to the local media. They had a way to localize what was then a national story, but they had zero interest in it. And on top of that, there was plenty of evidence that the guy that eventually got charged with harassment in this case and entered a plea last night to that, did this to maybe 5 or 6 or more other Teslas in the area, because the Tesla owner group people all posted photos of the same guy doing it to their cars.
Yeah, that guy's mentally ill.
Well, there were no charges in any of these other municipalities, only Kirkwood, because the owner of this particular car pushed the issue. And had he not, then the guy just would have gotten away with it scot-free. So one reason I've had so much interest in the story is it's about accountability. It's not a murder case, but it's about accountability. Who do you think you are that just because you disagree with your neighbor, your right to swing your fist ends at the other guy's nose? Just because you disagreed with somebody who bought a Tesla doesn't give you the right to deface it. And that's what happened here. Did he scratch it with a key? There is a case like that pending, by the way, and I hope to have more on that story for you soon. No, he didn't. But twice on 2 different occasions, he went up out of his little smugness and he slapped an F Elon sticker on the back of the car, and he got caught because, hello, note to the mentally challenged out there who don't know this, but Teslas have cameras that cover every angle of the car. If you approach a Tesla, you're on candid camera, and the guy clearly didn't know that or didn't care. Found out he drives a Prius, so he's a little EV driver too, and he didn't know that Teslas have cameras all over the place, and he got caught on camera. And when he was challenged on it in the restaurant that day, he wouldn't admit that he did it. He denied that he did it.
Well, and he was a coward yesterday.
And he was a coward yesterday. And the owner told me, had he just apologized right then and admitted he'd done it, I would have dropped the whole thing.
I get that. Yeah.
Instead, it took 8 months. And finally, there was a culmination in a Kirkwood Municipal Court last night, and I'm going to play you the audio of that coming up here soon. But that's what I got to go out and how many times in my career as a reporter and a media person, I've stood outside a courthouse, waited for somebody who's been convicted of something to walk out so you can ask them for their reaction.
It was kind of an adrenaline rush because sometimes they would dodge you. They'd go out other exits and you'd start to run because they would get out really quickly.
He tried. He tried, and because I heard them tell him there's only one way out. You have to go out the door you came in.
That's the way to do it.
Because, remember, Kirkwood had that horrible shooting back in the late 90s. Right. And I covered that when Cookie Thornton went in and murdered all those people. So since then, they have, many years ago, instigated very strict security protocols to get in that building. So when there are city council meetings or otherwise, you have to go through a magnetometer, You have to go through a metal detector, and there's one way in and there's one way out. So there's no side door, even though he was clearly looking for one last night because he did not want to talk to me.
I just wish the local media would pretend.
They wouldn't even
would pretend to be balanced for 1 second. Just fake it. We know you don't agree with that and you think it's garbage. Just pretend that you care about being balanced. It's not surprising at all. It's really disappointing. It's just, and don't give me this, it's not a big enough news story to cover. Garbage. It doesn't even matter if it wasn't a car set on fire. If videos go viral on social media, I cannot tell you how many times I would take a story like that and use that as a reason to pitch it.
I agree. I was as disappointed as you were. All right, so we got lots to get to for you today. A little bit later, we're going to talk to Tricia Byrnes. She's a Missouri State rep. She's running for collector out in St. Charles County. But something interesting she posted this week was, hey, the kids are out of school again, but instead of we're going to try to make them do remote learning. And she's a parent who's pushing back on that. And we're going to talk to her about that at 7:35. Jimmy Failla on a little later. Charles Payne is going to join us. Great to have him on, one of my favorite guests of all time from the Fox Business Network at about 8:35 this morning. Right now, though, Ethan, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Short List.
What ICE and CPP are doing in Minneapolis and other cities around the country is not border security and certainly not law and order. What ICE is doing is lawless disorder.
I don't. Chuck Schumer is such a fraud that I don't even know why the TV cameras point at him anymore. He's a fraud. He doesn't know how to cook hamburgers, and he doesn't. To say that about our federal law enforcement officers and threaten to defund them is horrendous.
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you make little changes. Bovino's very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe it wasn't good here.
Yeah, President Trump yesterday on sending Tom Homan up there. I got news for you if you're on the left. This is not an about face. Tom Homan is a bulldog, and they're about to realize what Donald Trump just did to him here shortly.
You're a fucking fascist pig. You should fucking kill yourself. I hope your wife dies. I hope your mom and dad die. I hope everything wrong that could go in your life happens.
Yeah. Those are the ghouls of the left, in case you're wondering. That's a message that they released from Homeland Security of some of the voicemails that have been left for these ICE agents and Border Patrol agents who've been doxxed. They get messages like that on their voicemails these days. When you hear me talk about the crazy left in this country, that's it right there.
Not even close. We're enforcing the law and arresting people here in violation of law that are public safety threats. That's not disappearing people. That's enforcing the laws of this country and make this country safer.
Yeah, thank you, Tom Homan. He's not afraid to go on media that disagrees with him. He went on Morning Joe with Mika Brzezinski yesterday, and he absolutely tied her in knots. She's another one of these like George Stephanopoulos who parades as a journalist, and she's a hard lefty. You can't cover it up. Her dad was Zbigniew Brzezinski, the national security advisor for Jimmy Carter. That's how far back her Democrat roots go. And for them to parade her as something like a journalist is just silly season over on, is it MS Now? Is that what they're calling it?
Yep.
All right. Quick break here. We'll get to more on the Tesla story coming up here right after the break. First, though, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, good morning. We look great on the roads. It's 16 degrees out there and, 5:19 in the morning, so we should. But we've got light volume in general, and I don't see any backups, at least on the interstates at this hour. 70 looks great from out west into the city. We look fine through North County. If something changes, I will let you know. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, Sue, thank you. I pointed this out the other day. I was out at Lit Cigar Lounge. Whenever I go out there, I met some friends there last week. I always see people that I've never seen before down there, friends of mine who've either heard me talk about it on the show or they just discovered Lit right there in the Chesterfield Valley. Just a relaxing, kind of laid back but luxurious setting, and you're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy yourself, whether you just want to go in and have a beer after work. Maybe you want to go in and have one of their handmade cocktails, which are delicious. They've got anything you want to drink. They've got a full bar. But Lit is it's unique. It really is unique among these type of places as a cigar lounge, right? Whatever you might envision by that, throw it out the window. Lit is out. It's big, luxurious leather couches and TV screens all over the place, and a fantastic state-of-the-art ventilation system that keeps the air clean and clear, and it's relaxing even if you don't want to go in and have a cigar. Go in and have a cocktail. I've met there for business meetings, of obviously winding down with friends. I've been in there when they've had music. They hosted our 25th anniversary celebration down there. Fantastic. And they've got private lockers available. They play poker in there every Tuesday night, I think. They have a regular game. And you don't have to be a member. You can just go in and enjoy yourself. It's just great. It's right there in the Chesterfield Valley in the district, just down from the factory. Go online, follow them for their social events and their specials. It is litstl.com.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing, not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how to build your retirement on your terms.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
Join host Steve All for the All Financial Hour, Saturday mornings at 6 or Saturday afternoon at 4, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, welcome back. So I was in a Kirkwood Municipal Courtroom last night when this happened. William Howells is the guy who was charged with harassment in the case of slapping these stickers on cars down there. Why he wasn't charged with vandalism, I don't know. Kirkwood chose to pursue harassment charges against him because he did it 2 different days and was recorded on video doing it on 2 different days. Right, putting the F. Elon stickers on Christian Kirk's Tesla. which of course Mr. Kirk has kids. There's profanity on these stickers that the guy's putting on the car. So they charged him way back in May, like May or June is when he was originally charged. It took 8 months to get what is effectively a misdemeanor case into court. The guy hired an attorney. What's the guy's name? Bruce Bromowith, a local attorney who's been representing him and stalling and asking for continuances and all of this other garbage. All to boil down to what happened last night. So what happened last night was he pleaded, and they call it an Alford plea. An Alford plea is when you admit they have enough evidence to convict you, but you're not admitting guilt. So that's who you're dealing with here. Somebody who's on camera putting stickers on cars, but won't admit that he did it. That's what we've got going on here. So after this happened, he got 2 years of probation and 25 hours of community service, and he was ordered not to have any more contact with Christian Kirk, who's the victim in this case. Here's my interview with Christian after this case ended last night. Christian, what's your reaction to the Alford plea by Mr. Howes a few minutes ago in your vandalism case?
Well, the whole theme of all of this it's been about accountability, and there hasn't been any. From the beginning, if the guy had just, done his thing, and then when I talked to him in the coffee shop, if he had just been like, yeah, and maybe admitted it or said he was sorry, then we wouldn't even be here. So it's funny that we've gotten all the way here, 7 months later, and he still doesn't have to admit that he did it. It's just comical.
Are you surprised that it took this long to get to this?
I should be surprised, but I know how the legal system works, so no. But it's pretty fascinating. It's pretty wild that something this simple and this straightforward, where the guy's on video and multiple people have him on video, and all of a sudden it takes this long to make any progress or to get an answer. It's just funny.
Yeah. Speaking of multiple people having him on video, you did submit that to the court of other instances where the same individual did the same thing to other Teslas.
Correct, yeah. So when I put stuff on the Facebook page, a bunch of other Tesla owners had pictures of him stickering their Teslas. There was a number of them. I screen grabbed each one, and I made sure I sent all those to the prosecutor. So they were aware that this wasn't the only time. He didn't just accidentally sticker my car once. He did it to multiple other cars.
Yeah, thank you, Christian, for pointing that out. And it gets back to my earlier point. The backdrop of all of this last May was vandalism across the country against Teslas, because all of these people, these idiots, were mad at Elon Musk. They were burning Teslas in other places. So we have a local case where there's one guy, and there's video evidence of him doing this on multiple Teslas in several different jurisdictions. And the only place that charged him was Kirkwood. But they probably could have charged him in other places too. Local media, silent. They didn't do anything. But I did, because I went out there last night to hear the guilty plea. I wanted to hear it. And afterwards, I wanted to ask Mr. Howes a question. And Mr. Howes did not want to talk to me when he walked out of the courthouse.
Hey, Mr. Howes, how are you?
He doesn't want to talk, partner.
Marc Cox with 97.1 FM. Are you happy about your guilty plea here, sir? You want to comment on why you were vandalizing people's Teslas? Can you comment on that? Apparently there's a video of you doing it elsewhere.
I can't stop him from filming.
No. Mr. Howes, you don't want to know, you have no comment? Are you going to do this to any more Teslas? Are you going to do this to any more cars? Have you learned your lesson, sir? Nothing? This is the weak-kneed left that you get here, who have a lot of guts when they want to stick stickers on people's cars, but they won't comment about it afterwards. Thank you. How are you, sir?
Groovy.
What's your name?
This is the attorney, right? Yeah.
You have any comment? Why an Alford plea? Isn't that kind of weak-kneed? So they have enough evidence to convict him, but what? Have enough evidence to convict him, but he pleads guilty? No comment?
Yeah, nothing. And the attorney, I didn't get near Mr. Howes. I was following him, asking him questions like we do all the time as reporters. His attorney starts recording me, recording him, like trying to intimidate me, like I'm not going to ask the guy questions. He just got sentenced to 2 years of probation and 25 hours of community service for what he did. His guilt was pretty obvious. And what a sad state of affairs. Anyway, somebody's doing the follow-up work for you, and it's not the local media. We'll be back with Kim on a Whim.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street traders are not expecting the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates as the Fed wraps up its meeting today. Larry Lindsay, CEO of the Lindsay Group, believes rates will eventually go down, but there probably won't be more than 2 cuts this year.
So I'm sure the next Fed chair will bring in 1. They may bring in 2. But once you go beyond that, you're getting into extremely accommodative territory at a time when you have very rapid growth and very rapid demand for credit.
It's another busy day for earnings. Microsoft, Meta Platforms, and Tesla report earnings after the Wall Street close. Also coming out today, earnings from Southwest Airlines, Starbucks, AT&T, General Dynamics, IBM, GE Vernova, and others. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jen Poselda, invested in you.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look good on the roads right now. In fact, the interstates are in great shape. Side streets, well, it's impossible to generalize for the entire area. Just take it easy out there. We've had really light traffic for the last couple of days, and it's helped with road conditions. So right now, you're fine. Eastbound 44 looks great from Pacific all the way in. We're quiet on the Illinois side. Both 70 and 6440 look good and looking good in North County. Even 55 through multiple construction zones looks fine. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, we have got lots of issues in the greater St. Louis area with hydrostatic pressure. If you're not familiar with what that is, I had this problem at my first house. Whenever it would rain, water would come up through the bottom floor of my house, not just around the drain, but it would force its way up through cracks in the floor. And we had to get that addressed, right? And It's not something you look forward to, but it's a problem that exists with this clay soil that we have. And I had to have all this explained to me by Matt Hayes with Home Shield Foundation Repairs. He's like, yeah, it's a problem in this part of the country. There are places where they don't even put basements in because it's going to be such a problem. It seems like everybody in St. Louis has one, but even if you live on a slab, you can still have soil erosion problems and other things that affect your foundation. You can't let that foundation start to crack or weaken. You just can't. So you call Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repairs. He's the guy. He's the owner of the company. He's an expert. He's a foundation specialist. They're going to be honest with you about what's going on. They're not there to sell you a package like some of these big firms. They're going to address the issue. It's a crack in the wall. They're going to seal it. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty. If they've got to put in drain tiles, they're going to fix it. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty. So call him today at 314-271-9900. Tell him Marc sent you, or go online and watch the great interview I did with him at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Here in St. Louis, we take pride in supporting our health and our community. That's why more and more families are turning to Neovitin multivitamins, created by a local physician and made right here in the U.S. using the highest quality domestic and international ingredients. With formulas for men, women, and adults 50 plus, Neovitin helps keep St. Louis families energized, supported, and ready for life. Find Neovitin at your local Dierbergs, Schnucks, and online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
From O'Fallon, Missouri to O'Fallon, Illinois. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
Gangs of armed youths terrifying the public. Sweden's once peaceful streets have become riddled with crime, and increasingly it's children who are pulling the trigger. In the last 2 years, the number of murder suspects who are under 15 has more than tripled. Some gang-related hits are being carried out by children as young as 10, lured by gangs through social media in return for money.
Well, doesn't that sound similar to what we have going on here?
In Sweden.
In Sweden. Kids as young as 10 years old there and here in the city of St. Louis who were armed, and they pull up and they try to carjack someone. They're carjacking grown adults at like 3 a.m, and you and I both know this very well, Ethan, you too, because this is around the time we're driving here, and that's when these things tend to happen. Youth violence is out of control, and the Swedish government is taking a step to try to crack down on it. They're lowering the age of criminal responsibility from 15 to 13 years old. So what they're also doing in addition to that is they're saying that it would affect crimes with a minimum prison sentence of 4 years. And it's saying that it would also eliminate the lighter sentencing requirements for people aged 18 to 20 years old and increase the maximum sentence for minors from 14 to 18 years in prison. I know I just threw on a lot of numbers out at you, but the bigger picture here is that they're cracking down on crime. They're seeing a trend. They're realizing that, and they pointed this out, by the way, in that video that I played off the top, that a lot of these adults are recruiting the younger teens, and they're paying them off because they know that they might be more willing to commit these crimes because it's more or less a slap on the wrist. So these young kids are willing to do this, not realizing the consequences, or they're not really being many consequences.
Right.
And they're doing it. The Swedish government said, huge issue with gangs. A lot of it's the younger kids. The Swedish government estimates there's about 1,700 teens under the age of 18 active in criminal networks. They say there's almost daily shootings, bombings. I mean, it's insane. Just last year, 93 kids under the age of 15 were in prison there for murder, attempted murder, or aiding in a murder.
So I have a question. When the president was at the World Economic Forum, he pointed out a number of countries in Europe that have no-go zones. Sweden was one of them, and part of the problem they had was because of their open border policy, where they basically have allowed themselves, just like Paris and a lot of these other areas in Europe, have allowed themselves to be taken over by foreign gangs, but foreigners who they've allowed into their country, who don't speak the language, who don't assimilate, and who cause crimes. I wonder if this spike in crimes if those are the gangs they're talking about. Did it say in this report?
No, it
who
didn't
these
say.
people were?
It didn't say that, but I believe I saw another article that talked about how Sweden was tightening its immigration laws.
Yeah.
And I think many countries are in the same position where they're realizing that they have to do something because the crime is getting out of control.
If you shut the door after the criminal's already inside, it doesn't do you any good. Unless you start rounding them up and throwing them out, which is what Donald Trump is trying to do. We shut the border, right?
Right.
And now we're having to go find the criminals and get rid of them. But back to the point of juvenile crime, they need to do that in Missouri so that local prosecutors like Gabe Gore have some teeth in the law, because these juveniles know they're going to get a slap on the wrist and they're going to be back home with mom and dad that night, so they can go out and steal another car the next day.
Right. Okay, it's interesting. Going back to what you talked about people coming into that country, the immigration. So it didn't say it in the big video that I watched, but it says here, this is actually off Breitbart is where I initially saw this, and it says it comes in response to a growing issue of criminal networks recruiting young teenagers, often from impoverished minority and migrant communities, as those under 18 face less imprisonment than adults.
Yep.
Mass migration, they say, was transforming the crime picture in the country, with migrant criminal gangs importing a whole new type of lawlessness into what had been a relatively peaceful corner of Europe. So boom, there it is, exactly what you said.
Criminality without punishment just leads to more criminality. And our laws are just antiquated. I mean, our laws date back to a date when, a kid got in a fist fight at school or on a street corner, and the law wanted to recognize the fact that you don't want to tarnish them for the rest of their life with some sort of criminal charge. So we put in the juvenile court system, and it's just gotten out of control. And it didn't take long for the criminals to realize we can take advantage of that. We just recruit younger and younger kids who are going to not be treated harshly in the criminal justice system, and the adults are never held responsible for it.
Right.
It's happening
it's a slap
everywhere.
on the wrist. Exactly. And
Yes.
people know that. These criminals might be stupid. We might look at them and think, how are you so stupid to do this? But they're not as stupid as you might think, in the sense that they know that. And so that's why they're being smart, and they're trying to find these younger kids where they won't have as many consequences.
So look at Marc's comments there on YouTube this morning. He goes, I lived and worked in Sweden for 16 years and knew this was coming. The jails... The kids are not afraid of prison either. You get basically a nice hotel room and fed very well. So, and even if you get held accountable in Sweden, you're at the Hilton hotel, basically, is what it sounds like.
Yeah,
I don't know that personally. That's what Marc on YouTube is pointing out this
Doesn't
morning.
that sound like what we have
it
going
does.
on here, that people aren't afraid of the consequences because they're not strict enough? I saw this story last night. I had to laugh. This is from KCRG, which is in Columbia, Missouri. And, Jefferson City, I guess, technically. It says that inmates in Algoa or Moberly, whatever, they were being forced to shovel the snow in sub-zero temperatures. That's the headline. Algoa Moberly prisoners report being forced to shovel snow in sub-zero temperatures. I'm sorry, let me get out my tiny violin for you. You should have seen the comments, Marc. There were people who were saying, I'm 76 years old and I got out and shoveled my snow in sub-zero temps, and people saying, my 12-year-old son went out there and shoveled. Why are we sitting here making this a story? Are we supposed to feel sorry for them? And somebody actually commented and said, look, I've worked at this prison. I'll tell you what, maybe they're out there shoveling, but we actually have what's called like a snow cruise, and these prisoners, these inmates can volunteer to go do this particular job, and they're not sent out in shorts and a t-shirt. He's like, we have wool socks and boots and coats and hats and gloves. They're well dressed, and so this is such a ridiculous, misleading headline.
The purpose of confinement should be punishment. And it shouldn't be a situation you ever want to find yourself in again. I loved what Joe Arpaio used to do in Maricopa County down in Arizona. Remember him? He's the one that built tents to house them, so they had to live outside basically in the heat in Arizona. And he made them wear pink jumpsuits.
Forgot about
because
that.
he wanted them to never want to come back there
Yeah.
again. And the left hated him for that. Because they don't want criminal justice. They want justice for criminals. It's pathetic. We've got to turn around our approach in this country on that, or we're just going to this is just going to get worse. I mean, honestly, you see what's going on in Sweden and some of these European socialist Democrat governments.
I should have played a clip from the show Parks and Recreation with Eagleton, which is the ritzy, nice city that's adjacent to the fake city Pawnee, Indiana. And in Eagleton, the prison, gives you tea and crumpets and they play nice jazz music and you have like a nice little soft blanket you get to sleep on. And
yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of setup I feel like that a lot of these people want, including for the illegals. Remember Alligator Alcatraz, which, by the way, they are looking at opening up another facility, I believe in Florida. I'm curious what they call that one.
Oh, Kim, it's a concentration camp. Didn't you know that?
Well, you think they'll call it like crocodile concentration camp just to make the liberals mad?
Yesterday, I had the soundbite of the guy referring to it as Dachau. Like the
my God. I've been there, actually.
He said they're not
Dachau.
sending people to the ovens yet, but it's just a matter of time. And Jake Tapper didn't even correct him. That's how far out of touch some of these people
I
are.
went to Dachau in person, as I just said, and I went into the gas chamber and I saw markings on the wall that were very just devastating.
Heartbreaking.
So get out of here with that ridiculous comparison. They were gassing people. No. Cannot make that comparison.
Well, thank you for pointing that out about Sweden. But I do remember the president last week in Davos talking about parts of Europe that are unrecognizable, and Sweden was one of the ones he mentioned. Along with France and probably the UK for that matter. I mean, London's got a Muslim mayor now, and there are parts of the city that you couldn't walk around in without a scarf on your head. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just that's what open borders have done in other countries.
Or judges who were letting
Yes.
these people off with a slap on the wrist, and then they just commit another crime because they don't care about the consequences.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get to a quick break here. When we come back, some of the latest news out of that investigation up in Minnesota, the shooting of Alex Preddy, and some of the other misleading things the media has reported about the victim in that shooting up there in Minnesota, how it happened, and who he was. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look good on the roads this morning. It's nice and quiet out there, at least so far. And if you're just headed out, it really is on the Missouri and Illinois sides both very peaceful. So northbound 55 in great shape at this hour through multiple construction zones. Northbound 270 looks good. We're quiet through North County. The interstates really are in great shape. Side streets, at least where I am, look good. So far, so good this morning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Hey, paging Corey Malone of Air Comfort Service. I'm freezing this morning. I may need you to come in here and get me in my comfort zone in the studio. I'm just saying. But if you need help in your house, if your furnace is not keeping up when it's, I think, 12 degrees outside this morning or 0 or what, it's not going to get warm again for a few days. You need to call Air Comfort Service, and here's the phone number. I'm going to give it to you. If you put this in your phone or write it down under HVAC, stick it on the fridge, you're going to know who to call. Air Comfort Service, 314-513-0091, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're going to get you some help if you have furnace problems, and that's key right now. Maybe you didn't change that filter last summer like they told you to, and it's restricting the airflow. It could be a whole bunch of things going on. Whatever it is, Air Comfort's going to get in there, and they're going to get it taken care of for you. I'm part of their preferred partner plan. I'm not bragging. You can do the same thing, and what that does, it gets you priority service. If you need help, it gets you discounts. If you have to have work done, and it's just great. They come out and check my system twice a year. They'll do the same thing for you. Right now, if you're thinking of a new HVAC system, and this offer is not going to last forever, they're offering a free humidifier and safety package to go along with that. That's a whole house humidifier. If your skin is dry and flaky right now, it's probably because of the lack of humidity in your home, and this fixes that for the whole house. So reach out to him. Tell him you heard Marc Cox bragging about him, and tell him you need to be put in your comfort zone. 314-513-0091 or aircomfortservice.com.
2026 is an election year, and 97.1 FM Talk will be your home for every twist and turn in the 2026 midterms. 97.1 FM Talk. Keep it here for radio coverage that's 25 years strong.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property with selective land clearing. Whether it's for a building site, pasture reclamation, hunting, or trail creation, Missouri Brush Control can transform your unusable acreage into accessible and productive property. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. 5-star rated on Google reviews. See impressive before and after projects today at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Tell them Bo Matthews sent you to MissouriBrushControl.com.
You're back with Marc Cox and Kim St. Onge. The Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you make little changes. Bovino's very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe it wasn't good here. But you have to understand, when I watch some of the people that I've been watching over the last few weeks, these are paid insurrectionists. These are paid agitators. These people aren't normal, like OG, that, they're incensed about anything. How do you get incensed when you go into a state and you're taking criminals out? You're taking monsters out.
Yeah, the president yesterday, in reaction to what's going on in Minnesota, if you've been fooled into the mainstream media talking points that somehow Trump blinked, think again. This is part of the strategy. Tom Homan is not going to be any easier on these illegal criminals than Bovino was. His tactics may change a little bit. What he's effectively done is he's sent Homan up there, and Walz, in hopes that he's going to get rid of ICE sooner, has agreed to bend the rules on how law enforcement helps our either Border Patrol agents, or in this case, I guess, ICE agents under Homan, who will be working up there. They've got to admit that. If you want to lower the temperature, you've got to let your law enforcement people work to protect ICE, number one, protect your own citizens, number two, and turn over the criminals when you've got them in custody, so we don't have to go track them down in the community. It's a very simple fix. And the people up there fighting against that are morons if they can't understand that, right? Here's what you need to know about the mainstream media. Dishonest as the day is long. There's evidence of NBC digitally altering the photo of Alex Preddy to make him prettier. Like, instead of making him look like a beta male, they altered his face to make him look like an alpha male. I don't know. He looks more like a male model in the picture they did, but if you look at the real picture, he doesn't look like that. He looks a little bit like the half loon that he clearly was, right? What else did we find out? A couple of weeks ago, he had another altercation where he got a rib broken when he had to be tackled and moved out of the way by Customs and Border Patrol. After that incident is when he went out and bought the gun. Now, why would you go buy a gun? Because who's he mad at there? He's mad at Customs and Border Patrol. He bought a gun to protect himself from federal officers, and now he's dead. Now, I'm just telling you, that's not logical thinking. It's not Second Amendment thinking. That's not what you should do if you see a law enforcement operation going down. If you walk out your door this morning and you see St. Louis Police or St. Louis County Police or somewhere in the Metro East, Belleville Police, conducting a raid on the house next door, I strongly suggest you don't strap on your sidearm and walk over there and try to stop them. That's not going to end well. So the lies about this Alex Pretty case I can't stand it. I'm watching this thinking, how is the media getting away with painting this guy? And you'll notice, Kim, I don't know if you noticed on the way in this morning, on the Gordon Deal show, every time they read a story about Alex Pretty, every time that I hear the mainstream media, it's Minnesota ICU nurse Alex Pretty.
Who also helped veterans.
Oh, yeah, he helped veterans. And he loved dogs. And he loved to go hiking. And he also, coincidentally, was a maniac whose own family had to warn him not to engage at these protests. And he got his ribs broken a couple weeks ago when he got entangled with Border Patrol. He didn't learn his lesson, went out and bought a handgun, and went back to the protest. So please couch that just a little bit in terms of them trying to paint this guy as a hero and digitally alter his photo and all of this. Just like Renee Good, right? They show the picture of her back when she was partially sane, when she was originally married with long hair and all that. And they don't always show the picture of her at the time she died, when she had her head shaved effectively and looked a little bit off kilter, quite frankly. That same thing they did with Mike Brown in that case. They showed his 8th grade graduation photo and not what he had turned into, which was a bully giant of a kid who ended up causing problems that ultimately led to him getting shot to death.
Well, I saw some other image.
It's unfortunate. All of these cases are tragic. They're tragic.
Some other incident where CNN had altered the picture of Tom Homan, where he had color to his face. Because when you're talking about Alex Pretty's picture with MS Now, they made him tanner, among other things. His jawline was rounded out. It wasn't as oval, and then a bunch of things. But the Tom Homan one, they made his face look a little bit like
ashen,
more of like a ghost look to him.
Not a surprise. I did pick this bite up, and I thought it was telling because there are going to be the storyline from the media will be, oh, Trump blinked. They're all calling for Noam to be fired. I don't think that's going to happen. Donald Trump doesn't like violence. It's why he calls himself the peace president. And he's sick and tired of the mainstream media trying to blame the violence on him instead of the people it rests with, which is Walz, the governor up there, and Fry, the mayor, and the agitators who were encouraging this, just so you know that. I thought Glenn Beck had a pretty good take on it yesterday, and I agree with him completely on what he said here. Listen.
We're seeing Trump shift the battlefield, not abandon it. And let me take you through this cleanly and tactically here. First, what would a surrender or a blink actually look like? If Trump was blinking, this is what would happen. He would end the enforcement nationwide. He would call off ICE operations. He would publicly repudiate Homan or Miller. He would admit wrongdoing or illegality, and he would accept the Gestapo snatching people off the streets narrative. None of that happened. Instead, and now think of him in Art of the Deal, he narrowed the enforcement criteria. Political pressure is rerouted. Optics cooled. Legal authority preserved. Responsibility transferred back to the states. This is not a surrender. I believe this is a reframing of the fight.
Absolutely. By the way, the president was on the road last night. We're going to cover more of that when we come back, pointing out it's the economy, stupid, which is going gangbusters right now. We'll be back in just a minute.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
John Pertzborn here, and I've come to respect the good works of Hardy's Rise and Shine for Heat benefit, supporting heatupstlouis.org, where 100% of the proceeds help families and seniors with Missouri and Illinois utilities. It's Friday, February 13th, your lucky day. Volunteer now or pre-order sacks of sausage or egg biscuits only at heatupstlouis.org. Put the biscuits down, gentry.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
At Grasser Home Services, we're looking for happy plumbers to join our team. Plumbers who are polite, honest, and do the job right.
And love dogs. They must love dogs.
Plumbers who treat customers' homes with respect, care about the details, and show up on time.
Know a happy plumber who's great with dogs?
Have them call Grasser Home Services.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Amid all the anti-ice anger in Minnesota, an assault. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, targeting a Democrat, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, at a town hall last night while she was critical of immigration enforcement raids.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
That's when a man came at Omar, spraying the Democrat with something from a syringe people said smelled awful.
I need a napkin to know nothing is wrong.
And Omar wiped it off and kept on talking at the town hall.
Omar was angered and shaken, but apparently mostly unharmed. Security tackled the man identified as Anthony James Kazmarchuk and walked him out of the room. He was charged with third-degree assault. Representative Omar saying he was an agitator. Now, the frightening incident happened shortly after Board Czar Tom Homan announced he had meetings with Governor Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Fry here in Minnesota. Homan writing, while we don't agree on everything, these meetings were a productive starting point.
Well, that's Fox's Matt Finn in Minneapolis. Mayor Jacob Fry, a Democrat, posted after the meeting, Minneapolis will not enforce federal immigration laws. President Trump had put Homan in charge of enforcement there. He tells Fox's Will Kane show that operation's been a success.
We're going to de-escalate a little bit, but I will tell you, you look at the numbers, they're doing better than they've done in many years.
And we're also learning more about Saturday's shooting that led to even more anti-ice anger, killing a protester, Alex Preddy. The Trump administration tells Congress 2 agents opened fire. One yelled, he has a gun, referencing the concealed weapon. Preddy had a permit to carry. The shots then came seconds later. Back to the president. He campaigned last night in Iowa, touting an improved economy.
If we lose the midterms, you'll lose so many of the things that we're talking about.
Kicking off weekly trips, trying to help Republicans keep control of Congress in November. Secretary of State Marco Rubio will testify before a Senate hearing this morning about the U.S. operation in Venezuela, warning in his opening statement the U.S. could take more action if Venezuela's leaders don't cooperate with the U.S. America's listening to Fox News.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Good morning. Welcome into Wednesday. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. 14 degrees now at 6:03. A proposed 16-building data center near Pacific is getting some pushback. Hundreds of residents packed City Hall Tuesday to hear this pitch. It was from an out-of-state energy company that wants to build a $16 billion data center campus on 500 acres along Highway O. Pacific's mayor says a decision on whether or not to approve that proposal likely won't happen until April or May. One of the parking lots outside the St. Louis Galleria Mall flooded after a water main break. Video of that pipe bursting outside Dillard's Tuesday shows massive amounts of water pouring into that parking lot. Fox 2 reports, thankfully, the rest of the mall was not impacted. And we know earlier in the day, a water main break had forced Normandy High School to dismiss students early. Another pipe burst shut down part of Big Bend Boulevard near Manchester in Maplewood. St. Louis City residents say, yet again, it is taking longer than it should to clear the streets after this past weekend's snowstorm. City officials say they're focusing on the main routes first, and then the secondary roads, those are lower priority. Well, residents living in North City tell Channel 4 there seems to be unequal services divided along racial and economic lines. In sports, Blues lost to the Stars. That marks their 5th loss in a row. SLU, on the other hand, having a fantastic season. They've now won 14 games in a row after beating George Washington last night. And finally, Mizzou lost to Alabama 90-64. 14 degrees now. We're coming up on 6:05. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, things are really looking good as far as the interstates go. They have been clear for days, and things look fine out there at this hour. We've got light traffic in general. Northbound 55, we've got a couple of construction zones, yet traffic is moving well. No delays eastbound 70 from Wright City all the way into downtown. We look good on the Illinois side, but there is one accident that I'm seeing, and it's at the top of the ramp from northbound 55 to the eastbound Poplar Street Bridge. So if you're headed into Illinois at this hour downtown, that is causing a delay, and it appears to be jammed back onto 55 and 44. But other than that, we are good. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
The snowpack and the northwest flow. It is really cold going out the door this morning. Lots of sunshine today, about 29 for the high. Tonight, some clouds. It's cold, 9. Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine and very cold. The high Thursday, only 20, going down to 2 Thursday night. Friday, partly sunny, 15 for the high on Friday, in the 20s over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm ready for spring, honestly. We're at 14 degrees now at 6:06. You can take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you anywhere you go. Listen anytime. All you have to do is download that free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Hey, good morning. Wednesday morning. Glad you're with us here. It's the Marc Cox Morning Show. I'm Mark. That is Kim down there. Ethan across the way over here on the board. And Susan Thomas has got all of your traffic as probably a bit busier this morning on the roads. I think a lot more schools are finally back in session today. I know a lot were off yesterday. I don't know what the numbers are like this morning, but it certainly made a huge difference. I drove to Kirkwood last night at like 6 o'clock from my house. And I mean, it's a 30-minute drive probably, but it would have been a lot worse if we'd had regular rush hour last night. And we didn't. Like the roads it was like a Sunday afternoon or something. It was crazy.
Well, not only do the kids stay home, but the parents, a lot of them are probably working remote if they can.
Yeah. So you got that going on. It'll be a little busier this morning, but Sue's got you covered. If there's any problems out there, don't you worry about that. We've got ourselves covered. I had to go get a coat on because it's this 12 degrees thing. Man, the building down here is old. It's the old Park Pacific building downtown, and it's just not. The heating and air conditioning down here don't do well with wild fluctuations in temperature. Some days the heat will run you out of my office in there, and this morning it's cold. So.
Are you still running trickling your water at home?
I didn't do that this year.
Really?
I've done it before at my other house, but I didn't do it here.
Oh, we've been doing that just in case.
I'm
sure we'll have a high water bill,
but still.
I'm just paranoid. I mean, I was talking for headlines about how Normandy High School had a water main break, and then pipe burst there, and then another situation at the Galleria Mall. I mean,
what a nightmare. I had that happen on a rental property one time, and that people had moved out and didn't tell us, and we went over there, and before we got to the door, we could hear water running. And then the basement was filled with ice. It looked like an ice rink.
Oh, my gosh.
Hopefully you didn't experience that problem. I really hope you didn't, but I know it's certainly happened to a few people out there. All right. We still got a great show for you today. We're going to get to our friend Mary Vought from the Heritage Foundation coming up in the next hour. And Kim, you talked to her yesterday. What's she covering for us this morning?
Well, we were talking about, I'm trying to remember what I specifically had mentioned, because we always look on the Daily Signal because they always have really good articles that you can pull for. So one of them was talking about how the alarming number of dead people who are getting approved and sent student loans in Minnesota. I mean, this isn't just happening in Minnesota, but with all the fraud happening there.
The latest fraud, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other story we want to talk to her about is, and this is not a surprise to anybody, but based on which media outlet you're watching, that's going to likely determine how you feel about immigration and Trump, the job that he's doing.
Don't we know it? And we're pointing out the deceptive reporting they're doing all the time on many of these outlets, including altering Alex Preddy's face. So we're going to talk to Mary next hour. We got to check a business here at 6:35 with Nicole Murray, Jimmy Failla, Charles Payne. We got lots of great stuff to get to for you coming up here on the show today. But the president's on the road, and we're going to get to some of that for you here in a minute, because he's, as Susie Wiles promised us, his chief of staff, he is going to actively be out. He's going to actively be out on the roads, and he's going to campaign like he's running for office in the midterms, because he doesn't want to give up the House and or the Senate or both to Democrats, because can you imagine what the crazies would do if they had the reins of Congress right now? They'd try to impeach him again. You know they would. It's insane. They've lost their minds. But anyway, we'll get to all that for you. Right now, let's get to our top stories.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
He is funneling millions of dollars into the United States of America through 501s like Party for Socialism and Liberation, Democratic Socialists of America, Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. There he is, okay? Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy. He is funneling money here to these radical organizations.
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly there pointing out something I didn't know. Like, everybody points to Soros when they think of somebody funding these agitators. This is an American living in China who's sending millions and millions of dollars to support these loons in Minnesota. It's unbelievable.
In this earlier incident, he stopped his car after observing ICE agents chasing what he described as a family on foot and began shouting and blowing his whistle.
That's CNN. Occasionally they stumble into some journalism, having to admit that Alex Preddy, the guy that got killed in Minneapolis, was not a choir boy after all. He was not just an innocent ICU nurse. He had a history of interacting and agitating and interrupting ICE efforts up there to arrest illegals, including getting tackled and having a rib broken just about 2 or 3 weeks ago before he went out and bought a gun.
This is Elliot Forehand, candidate for Ohio Attorney General. I want to tell you what I mean when I say that I am going to kill Donald Trump. I mean, I'm going to obtain a conviction.
Yeah. Mental health check very much. This guy is running for Attorney General. Remember Letitia James promised she ran for office in New York on the promise that she would get Trump. Now you got a guy in Ohio, very red Ohio, who's dumb enough to think that a statement like that is going to get him elected to statewide office.
Under my leadership, economic growth is exploding to numbers unheard of. They've never had them before in recent times, and we're just getting started.
That's right. So that's the president on the road last night talking about how well the economy is going. And it would be nice if you could refocus on that, because affordability. That's all the talking points have been on the left. The mainstream media parrots it. They talk about the cost of this, the cost of that. I listened to a story this morning on the Gordon Deal Show on the way in where somebody found a grocery store receipt. Kim, did you hear that from
1996 or something?
Mid-90s sometime. And the woman, it was a family of four. They had twin children at the time, went to the grocery store, got like 120 items.
I thought the bill was 120.
The bill was 155, but they also mentioned the number of items that contained. And they went back to the grocery store and bought those exact same items today, and the bill was $500, like the difference between then and now. That's an affordability issue, right? Costs have gone up. Now, costs have ballooned the 4 years of the Biden administration because of runaway inflation that he caused, by the way, by wasting all that money during COVID. There's no doubt about that. But you got to look at what the economy's doing right now. Donald Trump's out there saying, listen, you got to focus on what's going on. Look at your 401k. Look at rent prices, all of this. Now, we're going to have Charles Payne on a little later this morning. But Charles Payne is an investor, and he works on Wall Street, and he knows that the market doesn't always respond directly to whoever's president. Like, you can have a good market, decent market during a president with horrendous economic policies. But in this case, he's like, you got to wait. People got to wake up and see what's happening here. Listen.
It's an absolute economic boom. And, you know, it's amazing because no one disputes it. No one who is in the business of finance. Every firm on Wall Street sees the market higher. And what's interesting about it is, you know, and I've always said the stock market is not the economy, but there are parts of it, particularly when it comes to earnings, right? So this market is going to go up, but it's going to be driven by earnings, not what they call PE expansion, not hype, not anything else. Just the fact that the economy, the domestic economy is doing so much better. By the way, you didn't mention rents. All right, so think about this for a moment because affordability has been a real issue. Rents came down every single month the last 5 months of 2025. That momentum will continue to the downside. There are some sources out there that show inflation at 1.2%. It's absolutely imploded. The data will catch up with the Federal Reserve. The data will catch up with the economists that use other forms. But the bottom line is we've got this economic wind at our backs that should make this just an absolute amazing year. A year that, by the way, I think many Americans forgot we can still have.
Yeah, how about that? So Charles Payne, we're going to have him on live at about 8:35. I can't wait to talk to him about that. And he's got another one of his live events coming up as well. I think tomorrow. Am I right about that, Kim? The Fox Business Network and his
I think it's Thursday, yeah.
Unstoppable Prosperity event. He's going to have a town hall coming up, and we're going to talk to him more about that as well at 8:35. But you can't deny you can't deny it. You can't look at the economic numbers and not start to realize that the economy is on fire, and it's on fire because of the policies of Donald Trump, because it wasn't on fire under Joe Biden. There was an inflationary pressure that existed because of all of the money they were wasting and the resources they were robbing us of. And now we're drilling, we're tariffing. The tariffs have had just the opposite effect that the media told you they would when it happened last spring. Remember, oh, this is awful. It's going to destroy the economy. The economy's on fire. And there's no denying that. And the president's going to go out and hammer that every chance he can get, I'm hoping, between now and election time. The Democrats would love to remove the nation's eyes from what's happening. We can't allow them to do that. Bottom line. That's kind of what's going on here. All right, a lot of stuff going on. Do you know that they're about to institute central bank digital currency, the stuff they've talked about in the U.S. in Europe? I just found that out yesterday. We're going to talk more about that when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
I just put this up on X. It's an accident on the ramp from northbound 55 to eastbound Poplar Street Bridge. And it's taken from, well, it's video, and it's a MoDOT camera that's not close up on the scene, but you can see that the right lane is blocked, and they're dealing with that ramp. Now, that seems to be the only issue at this hour. If you are headed out the door and not headed for the Poplar Street Bridge on the Missouri side, things should be fine. Now, that, of course, is on 55, 70, 64, but I am seeing some volume. Accident just coming in. Westbound 270, up north, approaching the Chain of Rocks Bridge, and it looks like there's a slight delay behind that. So that's what's happening at this hour, and it really could be worse. This report brought to you by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Need a new garage door? Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door. Enter now at overheaddoorstlewis.com. Deadline to enter is the end of the month, and you can't win if you don't enter. overheaddoorstlewis.com. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I don't know how long it's going to be before it warms up. It's hard to say. If you're looking forward to that, guys, because you can get back out, do yard work and all the things you love, maybe play in summer sports, and you're losing a step, you need to go to Victory Men's Health before all that happens. Let's just admit that up front. It's not something that happens overnight. You need to start feeding your body in ways that gives your body the nutrients that it needs. Maybe you're low on testosterone. At Victory Men's Health, they focus on men's health. I've been going there for 8 years now, and I can tell you this from personal experience. It's very simple. They take regular blood tests. They check your blood panel. The medical doctors at Victory do that. They've been in the business for years. They see what's missing. They fix it. It's that simple. Your testosterone level may be just fine for your age, or it may be lower than it needs to be, and you need to have that functioning properly for your energy level, for your ability to maintain the weight that you want to maintain, for your sexual health. All those things matter. So if you've got questions, if you've been putting it off, just make the appointment today. 4 convenient locations somewhere close to where you live or work. Tell them Marc Cox sent you. Go on and get that appointment at victorymenshealth.com. Marc Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon and learn how to create a worry-free retirement with the Retirement Advisory Group. It's coming up on Tuesday, February 17th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30 p.m. Here are Bob and Tammy Kershaw with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement? If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, February 17th at 6:30 p.m. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Buy big brands with Pro-Am Golf, test your skills, and win prizes while they last. VIP tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So, Kim, I don't remember if you and I have had this conversation or not, because I've talked about this over the years. It's been a little while since I brought it up, though. Have we talked about central bank digital currency? CBDC?
Yeah, I think we have.
There's been an effort to bring that into the U.S. The Biden administration was working on this, and I don't know that it's not still in the works somewhere, but there's no law that's been passed to start it or anything in the U.S., but there's been discussions about it. Here's why I think that is a complete nightmare. The central bank digital currency means you don't have any cash. Your stuff is all cashless. It exists in the Ethernet. You can't go to the bank and demand the money be put in your hand. The people who push it claim that it's just makes everything easier, and there are lower fees for retailers and the like. And I'm paraphrasing what I'm about to play for you here. In Europe, the European Union is just about to institute this. They're about to run a beta test on it, and with any luck, they're hoping to have it in place in the next 2 to 3 years. They claim it would still operate alongside regular currency, but the goal of central bank digital currency is to ultimately replace bills and change and coins and all that stuff so that everybody's on one platform. Now, let's say you piss off your government because you owe some bill and you're disputing them over it, and suddenly you go to use your card and your central bank digital currency has been frozen because the government has control of your account, not you.
Which sounds crazy, but that has already happened, and that was going on in Canada with COVID, where people who were speaking out about the COVID vaccine were having their accounts frozen.
And I'm assuming they could go to court and freeze your account anyway, but this is a push of a button. No, thank you. Like you're out to get gas one day and you realize, why is my card not working? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you miss the notification from your local jurisdiction that you haven't paid your water bill and therefore we're freezing your account? I mean, the possibilities are endless for this to be abused. But right now, it's about to happen in Europe, and clearly, I think the women being interviewed here are French. Evelyn Whitlocks is in charge of this for the European Union. Listen to her sell this.
What would the digital euro mean for people? The digital euro would be a digital form of cash with the same privacy and the same convenience. It would exist alongside cash, giving people more choice online, but also when there's no electricity or no internet connection.
How exactly would it work if there was no electricity or no internet connection?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I don't understand that.
The number of people willing to exchange convenience for, I don't even know the right
security for convenience.
Power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wild to me.
Yeah, listen.
As a European solution, it will reduce our dependency on non-European providers, keeping Europe's economy safe.
So, from non-European providers, are they talking about Visa and MasterCard? Is that who they're trying to? Is Europe trying to separate itself from having to depend on companies outside of the European Union to control its currency or to help people deal in its currency? I don't know. The whole thing is just way too much big government having control of your bank account.
Notice that what she said was it protects the government.
That's
it doesn't
right, yeah.
protect you, the consumer, the one who made that money, has earned that money, and now may not be able to access said money.
Well, here's their plan moving forward. They still have to work with the legislature there, but they are moving forward with this. Listen.
The digital euro would be one simple way to pay everywhere in the euro area, both online, in-store, as splitting the bill between friends. With the digital euro app, payments will be accessible and easy for everybody. And for small merchants, it would be a game changer because it would provide low fees.
Yeah, digital euro apps. This is something completely run by the government. You would have a government app on your phone to access your money. You could pay bills with it, and it would avoid fees because I'm guessing it would cut MasterCard and Visa and all those companies out of the game. is what
So
I'm guessing
if-
is how they're selling it.
If you're traveling from the United States on a 2-week vacation to Europe, then you'd have to download the Euro app. It sounds like.
Eventually, I think you might. Initially, it would work alongside their regular currency, and I think their target is people inside of the European Union. I don't know how it would affect travelers, but it's a good question. She didn't answer that. If you're traveling to the European Union and this becomes a thing, are you forced to participate in it? I can't imagine.
I think you would have to.
But you'd have to have an account there. It strikes me. I don't know. I just it's a horrible idea, but of course it wouldn't be the first time the European Union has made some kind of horrible decision like that. Coming up, we've got Nicole Murray with the check of business. We'll see how she thinks the economy's cooking along this morning. We've got other news coming up. And next hour, we'll talk to State Rep Tricia Byrnes, who wants to have a little more control over these school-free days.
Being first in line can be very important to homeowners. First in line for the plumber, first in line for the HVAC guy, first at Banner Construction. It's Banner Construction's winter home event, and you can be the first in line this spring and save before the annual price increases. Banner Construction is a James Hardy and Pella replacement windows specialist, and now is the best time to schedule a free in-home consultation with no obligation. Call 314-569-1050 or check them out on the web at bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsend. Many of our clients are victims of negligent drivers. They put their trust in us, and we help them recover physically and financially. Their words carry more weight than ours.
They guided me through every step of the legal process with clarity and expertise, ensuring that I always felt informed and supported.
Injured? Call Kaufman Townsley. It costs you nothing to call, but may cost you everything if you don't. Call 314-777-7777.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending, cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Attention, Missouri baby boomers. The Give 5 program wants to connect you with volunteer opportunities that fit your skills and passions. Learn how you can lend a helping hand and bring positive change to those who need it most in just 5 hours a month. Signing up is easy. Just attend our next free class in your local community. Visit our website at MissouriGive5.org to find a class near you. Brought to you by Missouri Area Agencies on Aging.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 14 degrees now, coming up on 6:31. St. Louis city officials are blaming commercial truck drivers for running out of salt they were offering to residents so quickly. That salt was part of a pilot program intended to help residents prepare for the storm. The idea was to bring your own bucket to fill up with salt. The city now plans to tweak the pilot program ahead of future snowstorms to try to prevent people from stockpiling. A Missouri lottery winner is $2 million richer after buying a winning scratcher ticket at an Arnold gas station. That ticket was purchased specifically at the Circle K there on Richardson Road. This winner, by the way, is the second winner just this year in 2026 to win at least $1 million in Jefferson County. So that's where you should buy your tickets, apparently. All right, in sports, Blues lost to the Stars yesterday. SLU, on the other hand, beat George Washington. Mizzou lost to Alabama. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
A couple of incidents worth mentioning here this morning. The accident on the ramp from northbound 55 or eastbound 44 to the Poplar Street Bridge, it caused enough of a problem that they've shut down the ramp to try to get that cleared. So if you are trying to head into Illinois from the Missouri side and are taking eastbound 44 or northbound 55 to that bridge, you cannot do it right now while they get this accident cleared. Now, we also have an accident up north, and this one is westbound 270. And we had one that was approaching the Chain of Rocks Bridge. That is gone, and now there is an accident just west of Riverview, and it's really causing a delay back across the Chain of Rocks Bridge and close to the Canal Bridge. Now, those are the two major incidents at this hour. But then I got a report of a vehicle fire southbound 55 at Bayless. Crews are on the way to check that out. Take care on the roads this morning. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out, kitchens, baths, outdoor spaces. They give you quality craftsmanship and lifetime warranties. Go to lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, right now there's snow on your roof, probably. I don't think it all melted yesterday. And that hopefully when it all runs off, you don't discover you've got a leak anywhere on your roof. But if you do have questions about the shape your roof is in, although it's not roofing season, it's not the season when anybody should be putting a roof on your house, my friend Curtis Carell can come over and help you. If you've got a leak, they can cover it up until spring when they can get in there and fix it. If you suspect you've got damage, he can come over and do a roofing inspection when that snow is off there and tell you what's going on and help you work with an insurance company if you've got to try to get a new roof put on. He's an honest guy. I've known Curtis for a long time. He is a family guy. He's a veteran, as you've heard me tell before. He's got years of roofing experience, and mostly it's the honesty, right? He came and found damage on my house after the storms last spring. He put a roof on. He went to my daughter's house 2 miles away and said there's no damage. So he's going to be honest with you. That's what you hope for in the roofing company, and that's what you're going to get with Carell Roofing. Call him today at 314-222-9529. Tell him you'd like an inspection, or maybe you got a problem you need an immediate fix for. That's 314-222-9529, or you can go online. It's Carell with 2 R's and 2 L's, CarellRoofingCo.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
It don't give me any credit at all. No credit at all for my sharp sense of humor, I tell you.
Is it sharp or...
we were just talking, not making fun of, but talking about this incident with Ilhan Omar. I mean, this woman stood up in a public setting last night and talked about going to war with the United States government over this, Minnesota strong, all this nonsense she stands up and spews. And she's perfectly within her First Amendment rights to do that. Last night, where she was at some event, some dude was sitting in the front row, and he got up and sprayed her with something, and they haven't determined exactly what that was yet. Somebody said it was like deodorant, but then somebody else said that it had an awful odor to it. Maybe they imported it from Mogadishu. I don't know. Whatever it was had an odor to it. It wasn't a chemical. I don't think they've determined that it was anything that would cause danger or illness to her, or I think that would be the headline this morning.
Well, and she carried on with the town hall.
But they are investigating it, and she carried on with the town hall, and the guy's been charged as he should have been, because nobody should be able to get away with that stuff. You shouldn't be able to get away with it against a congressperson. You shouldn't be able to get away with it against a member of Customs and Border Patrol or ICE either. You shouldn't. I'm thrilled the guy is getting charged in that case. I just don't know. We still don't know what the substance was. That's what we were talking about. And I won't repeat the bad joke.
No, you should. Let the people decide if it was funny or not.
Do you know what it said on the side of the can? It said Mogadee. Because it stunk.
Let us know if Mark's joke was funny. 314-241-9797.
That's all I'm saying.
Maybe Ethan and I are crazy. Maybe you are funnier than we give you credit for, Mark.
She didn't get hurt, and everything's going to be okay. But I'm glad they caught the guy that did it, and he deserves punishment for attacking a congressperson. That's never okay. Never okay. All right, let's get to our friend Nicole Murray, please. Nicole, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm sleepy. How are
sleepy?
you?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We couldn't sleep here if we wanted to because it's too cold in the studio.
It's
like
studio.
12 degrees. Yeah, it's cold in our studio. It's not 12 degrees in the studio. It's 12 degrees outside of the window, but it's colder than normal in the studio. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm all bundled up in studio, but, whatever. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah, whatever you got to do to stay warm, like go to Florida. I've got friends who I ran into them yesterday, haven't seen them in a while, and found out they're leaving for Florida today to go to Orlando, just like Gordon Deal did recently. Okay. And the high temperature is supposed to be 45 degrees or something like that.
Get
and they're so bummed.
Here.
But I know that
when you go to Florida, though,
long.
that is
that
is sad. When you go to a place like that, even in the winter, you do hope that it's going to be reprieve, 70 or maybe even 80 degrees, not 40s.
Yeah,
I'd be pissed.
Oh, I know. Wouldn't you?
Gosh.
Yeah. My parents at one point owned a place down near Satellite Beach in Florida, which is near Cocoa Beach. And we went down there for spring break, which is in March, right? A couple times. Well, that's mid-Florida over on the coast. The water's not warm in March, and oftentimes the temperatures, you're lucky if it hits 70, which seems warm if you're in the 30s, but not if you're on the beach where the water is cold. And so there are parts of Florida that aren't paradise in the middle of the winter, and that happened to be one of them. But you knew that going in.
Ugh, that's the worst.
I know. What's happening outside in the business world?
Okay. So futures are moderately higher. Tuesday, the Dow Industrials lost 408. The NASDAQ up 215. The S&P 500 up 28. Boeing says it has delivered the first operational T-7A Red Hawk jet trainer built in St. Louis to the U.S. Air Force. Delivery of the first T-7A Red Hawk comes 8 years after Boeing won a $9.2 billion contract from the Air Force for over 350 of the aircraft for 46 flight simulators and support services. Alton Steel Incorporated said it is shutting down effective this week, citing insurmountable challenges such as aging infrastructure, intense competition, and industry consolidation. The closure will affect more than 250 employees plus contractors and vendors. Hoping to heat off another vacant mall in the region, St. Louis County and regional tourism officials are exploring a plan to turn a portion of the South County Center into a youth sports complex. St. Louis County Councilman Mike Archer said finding new uses for the mall in his district was an issue he raised in his 2024 campaign. And more on the plane maker. Boeing said it expects airlines in India and South Asia to add nearly 3,300 commercial jets to their fleet over the next 20 years as resilient economic growth, a growing middle class, and a wave of first-time flyers drive demand for air travel. The company's previous rolling 20-year outlook projected demand for roughly 2,800 jets. TikTok has agreed to settle a landmark social media addiction lawsuit just before the trial kicked off. The social media video platform was one of the 3 companies, alongside Meta's Instagram and Google's YouTube, facing claims that their platforms deliberately addict and harm children. Details of the settlement with TikTok were not disclosed. And finally, new data says that if you work from home, you might be disrupting your dog's natural sleep schedule. A behaviorist reports that frequent disruptions to a dog's daytime snoozes can dysregulate them and might cause them to act out.
That would not. I don't know if my golden retriever could act out, but I love the videos, and I'm similar to my wife on occasion, when it shows those Malinois dogs that are like highly trainable and they look like German Shepherds, and they jump these incredible heights and snatch things out of the air.
Yeah.
And then it's got a picture of a golden retriever laying on a couch with its legs straight up in the air sleeping, because that's what mine does. I don't know if you could impact her circadian rhythm or not.
You know what I'd tell my dog? I don't have one anymore, but I would say, when you bark in the middle of the night and force me to take you out at 2 a.m. sometimes, you mess up my circadian rhythm.
Ooh, there you go. See?
So two can play at this game, dog.
You get up though. See, if my dog starts in the middle of the night, I'm like, nope, don't even.
Don't even start.
Yeah,
And
don't
do it in the house.
Yeah, and that's why, like, if we go out for a walk, like, I make sure we go out late enough so that there's not like 12 hours of overnight. But no, you got to use the time that we go on a walk, and if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's what I tell my kid with dinner. You better eat dinner or you're going to bed.
What kind of dog is it, Nicole?
So she is a total mutt. Like, I think I would have to get the DNA test done to know everything, but hound mix is all that's written on her paperwork.
How tall? How big is she?
Like 50 pounds.
Oh, so pretty good size.
There's a picture of her on Instagram. She's cute.
Well,
oh my God, she's so cute.
We got just enough snow that my neighbor Kevin had to go out and clear a path with his shovel in the grass because their dog is not very tall, and the snow was just high enough. It's a he that in order to find a place to go to the bathroom, they had to clear some space for him because things were getting too cold out in the snow.
Their little paws. I do feel bad for him.
It wasn't his paw that was getting cold.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. We'll leave it at that.
Plus,
they were feeling bad for him.
Plus, the snow covers all the smells. I think my dog is confused a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll find the poop whenever the snow finally melts.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Woo. All right. Nicole, thank you. We'll talk to you Friday.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate that. Yeah, that's good. By the way, Richie with the comment of the day on Facebook here, and I'll let you go in there and read it about what he thought was on the side of the can. But Richie, thank you very much for that comment. Lots of people on here are first of all, if you're on the text line, thank you. Once again, our 314-241-9797, our first message of the day. 2 hours ago, you guys suck. So thank you for.
It never gets old.
We were worried about you because we didn't know where you went because for a couple of days you weren't on there, and then all of a sudden it's back, and we appreciate that.
We really do.
Happy to read what you have to say. Here's, as a libertarian Republican, I would never support central bank digital currency. Kayla signed her name to that one, so she sent that one in. We appreciate it. And there are a lot of people apparently who believe that Omar knew this guy was coming, and because everybody's talking about her this morning.
People were talking about her all the time because
I know,
of the stupid stuff she
but
says.
a
So
lot
I
of
don't know
people
that
think
this is it. The only difference,
it was staged.
The only difference is that Republicans like Nancy Mace have come out and said exactly what you said, which is, look, I agree with just about every single thing that Ilhan Omar says.
Disagree?
However,
Yeah,
disagree. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
However, no one should have to deal with this.
No one should, and maybe she's just pushing for more security. I don't know. But she didn't cause her to back down a little, just even a bit, from being anti-American in her comments, because that's what I heard from her last night, as usual. All right, coming up, we're going to get to In Other News. Next hour, Tricia Byrnes is going to join us. She's a state rep. She's running for collector in St. Charles County this year. But she took issue with the school district out in Wentzville and these remote learning days, because they didn't want the kids to come back to school yesterday, so they just wanted them to learn on their tablets. And she's sick of that, and she's calling them out for it, and we're going to have her on to talk about that at about 7:35. So we're back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good news in traffic. They have cleared the accident on northbound 55 on that ramp to the Poplar Street Bridge. So if you are headed for that area, you can now make it into Illinois on the bridge. Now, we also had a report of a vehicle fire southbound 55 at Bayless. I am seeing something on the right-hand side that's up. You can't really tell. It's still pretty dark out, but I'm assuming that's it. It's not causing a delay southbound. Northbound, there's a little volume in that area. Northbound 270, moderate volume in pockets now, approaching Doherty Ferry up through 64. And things are looking better on westbound 270. We had a couple of incidents there this morning. Now we've just got moderate volume east of Route 3 across the Canal Bridge, and then things open up and look fine. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, Michael's Flooring Outlet, of course, one of my favorite places to go when I'm shopping for new flooring, and I would hope that you will go and check him out as well. I know our friend Lisa on Facebook went there recently. I appreciate her pointing that out to me, and also taking my advice when it comes to flooring, but she's a repeat customer just like me. She went up to the Olive store. The lady that waited on her there remembered her and her husband, and I mean, you're treated like a longtime customer, a family member when you go up there. They're going to give you great advice. They're going to give you great customer service, and on top of all of it, they have fair prices and a great selection. So if you are a savvy consumer, you shop around and you make sure you're getting the best product and the best prices. All Michael is asking is that you stop by his stores. Give him a try. If you're shopping for flooring, I think you're going to have the same great experience that I did when I got 4 times now, including the Mohawk waterproof flooring. We've had great carpeting put in that is stain resistant, so you don't have to worry about it if Fido or the kids have an accident. It's fantastic. And if it's in stock, you might get it installed the next day. That's a promise not everybody's making to you, I can tell you that. So visit them there in Creve Coeur off of Olive. West St. Louis County, of course, is that location. And then they're in Darden Prairie and they're in St. Peters. Go online anytime at igotfloored.com.
Are you a local nonprofit making a difference? Want help spreading the word? We want to hear from you. 97.1 FM Talk in Action highlights the great work being done in our community. Share your mission at 971talk.com/talkinaction.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
A 35-year-old California woman has been arrested after there was video showing her 19-month-old infant flying out of her moving vehicle.
What?
Narrowly avoids being run over by her SUV. She jumps out of the car, grabs the baby, goes back into her car, and just drives off.
It's kind of hard to watch.
Where was the baby? Why was it not in the car seat?
It was in the passenger seat. I have not even been able to watch the full video because it just makes me want to cry.
The kid was okay.
I'm that mad about it. Miraculously, the kid was okay.
Did it look like the kid jumped?
No, flew out of the car.
It's like the door opens and you just see a kid fall out. And it's small, like baby size.
Looks like a busy intersection, too.
Was she moving at the time?
Yes.
How in the world did the kid not get injured?
I don't know.
The car behind her just like slams on their brakes.
So they charged her?
I'm sure she was arrested. I'm sure there's injuries, but they're saying the child's expected to make a full recovery.
Wow. That's frightening. No kid. I'll have to go look for that. I haven't seen it. Here's some outrageous news from yesterday. They voted again on the NFL Hall of Fame. And as somebody said, I don't know if it was TJ Moe, whoever said it yesterday, I think I heard on Reardon's show that they denied Bill Belichick entry on the first ballot.
That's insane.
Think about this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say, the guy's got 6 Super Bowl rings.
The reason somebody brought up and I thought might be accurate was because of Spygate.
Yeah.
Remember when they were spying
that
on
or
other
Deflategate
teams?
and all that?
Yeah.
I forgot about Deflategate.
Yep.
I know, but
What do you think Jordan has to say about this?
I don't know, but she might hold a news conference. His 24-year-old girlfriend, or however old she is. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's but that had nothing to do with what he did as a coach.
No,
I don't know.
he's been very successful, and that's not really. You can't debate that much.
He gets 4 or 5 votes, so maybe next year, and that was just sort of a shot across the bow. There's no way they can't put him in.
Yeah,
they just can't. Like he's one of the greatest, one of the most dominant NFL dynasties in existence. So anyway.
So I know, Sue, you like Southwest Airlines. I've always tried to fly Southwest because you can usually get pretty good prices compared to some of the other airlines, but they've officially ended their long-standing open seating model. Mm-hmm. And that was as of yesterday. They've also started their plus-size pricing change, which would require plus-size travelers to purchase additional seats.
Wow.
Interesting.
Did you see the story the other day with the guy, they made him book 2 seats for his size, and when he got to the plane, the seats were in different locations. How's that going to work? Half a cheek here, half a cheek over there. I don't know.
Fred said that he made reservations for March, and that, you had to pick out a seat. And he said they went on, and there were blocked out ones that showed you which ones were taken. But they wouldn't let you pick one. They said they will assign you one day when you get there. And we were like, wait a minute.
I get to pick
then
the window
seat. Show me?
No, I want the window seat. If I have to pick, then I'm going to pick the one that I want. I don't want the middle seat.
Of course, nobody wants that. So we're trying to figure out whether that was just a fluke because he did that on the first day that they were, trying to get this done. So it remains to be seen. But that would be pointless.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Yeah, I would agree. That's going to be frustrating for a lot of people. And it's been that way for 50 years? I mean, they've been doing it that way for since Southwest was started all those years ago. All right. So there's an article, and I don't know that I could disagree. My wife would agree with it, about decluttering your house and the 2020 rule. Do you know what that is, Kim or Sue?
No.
Have you heard of this?
2020 rule?
The 2020 rule is a rule in decluttering that suggests if the item in question can be replaced in 20 minutes or for $20 or less, it's generally safe to let it go. They're saying you should just throw it away, and it can help you declutter your house.
You have to first thank it for what it did for you, like the what was her name?
That's right. I can't think of her name.
Something with an M.
Yes.
Value is in the eye of the holder. My wife would get rid of half of my crap if this was the rule. if it's worth more than $20 to me, whether or not I could replace it for $20 or not.
Yeah, that might be subjective. A little bit.
Very subjective.
Sorry to be gross this morning, but doctors who treat depression are now studying farts. They say because the gases one releases reveal what's in your gut, and that might then impact your mood.
Wouldn't there be an easier way?
It impacts everybody else's mood around me.
Thank you.
Well, they think that they can potentially treat or even prevent certain mental health conditions by manipulating what's in your gut, which is they're probably not wrong. So sniff your own fart, I guess. And that might be very telling.
Smell past the smell test.
How about they just say eat better instead of going through that?
There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Skip the broccoli. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. Coming up, we'll get to our friend Mary Vought and State Rep Tricia Byrnes. Stay tuned.
I I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Setting goals for your retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another. For tips on building a better nest egg, listen to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Saturday mornings at 6 or Saturday afternoon at 4, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
It looks like winter finally has arrived. It's really nice weather we were getting. But nice that we kept it all the way through. But it's time for your furnaces to start breaking. If it happens to you, please give me a call, and we'll get somebody right out there and get your heat real fast. If you choose, it makes more sense to replace your furnace. We can do that next day. So if you need service, give me a call. Bart Inman. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number. 314-293-2600. Again, Missouri and Illinois. Only one number. 314-293-2600. Or go online at bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B. Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down. It means getting smarter about your health. That's why we created Neovitin Men's 50 Plus Multivitamin. It's doctor formulated to support your energy, immune health, and overall vitality. Plus, it's made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients. Take control of your health with supplements you can trust. Look for Neovitin Men's 50 Plus at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, or online at neovitin.com. Neovitin, made for men who keep moving forward.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
All right, good morning. It is coming up on 7:01. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. 14 degrees, the current temperature. A proposed 16-building data center near Pacific is getting some pushback. Hundreds of residents packed City Hall Tuesday to hear the pitch. It's from an out-of-state energy company that wants to build the $16 billion data center campus on 500 acres along Highway O. Pacific's mayor says a decision on whether or not to approve the proposal likely won't happen until May or April. One of the parking lots outside the St. Louis Galleria Mall flooded after a water main break. Video of the pipe bursting outside Dillard's Tuesday shows massive amounts of water just pouring into the parking lot. Fox 2 reports the rest of the mall thankfully was not impacted. We do know that earlier in the day, a water main break forced Normandy High School to dismiss students early, and then another pipe burst shut down parts of Big Ben Boulevard near Manchester in Maplewood. St. Louis City residents say yet again it is taking longer than it should to clear the streets after this past weekend's snowstorm. City officials say they're focusing on the main routes first. The secondary roads are lower priority. Residents living in North City tell Channel 4 there seems to be unequal services divided along racial and economic lines. In sports, Blues lost to the Stars yesterday, marking their 5th loss in a row. A SLU, on the other hand, having an awesome season. They've won 14 games in a row. That's after beating George Washington last night. And then Mizzou lost to Alabama yesterday. The final score of that one, 90-64. All right, 14 degrees right now. It's 7:02. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We look pretty good out there on the roads right now. Eastbound 70, just a little bit of volume here and there, moderate as you head just east of Highway K. It's just not bad. 64, a little slow out at Prospect, and then things open up. We do have the usual volume on southbound 94 headed for Highway D, but 6440 itself looks good. And northbound 270, just some moderate volume along the way, and this would be Doherty Ferry up through 64. 55, a little bit slow around Weber Road, but we look good. If you are headed in from Illinois, downtown on the bridges, it's quiet, and now it's quiet up north. Westbound 270 is in good shape as well. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. Most home projects, you're like,
got this.
But rewiring a hot main or putting 120 amps to an outlet, you're like,
nope, not this.
Smart. Calling Jerry Kelly? Smarter. Getting them to perform an electrical safety check before work's needed? That's wisdom.
JerryKelly.com. Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
The snowpack and the northwest flow. It is really cold going out the door this morning. Lots of sunshine today, about 29 for the high. Tonight, some clouds. It's cold, 9. Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine and very cold. The high Thursday, only 20, going down to 2 Thursday night. Friday, partly sunny, 15 for the high on Friday, in the 20s over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All right, 14 degrees now. It's 7:04. You can always take the Marc Cox Morning Show with you anytime or anywhere. Very simple. You can listen to all our shows here on 97.1 FM Talk. Just download that free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning, Patriots. Welcome into the Marc Cox Morning Show. I'm Mark. We've got Kim St. in here, Ethan Bright running the board for us this morning, and, of course, Sue Thomas with your traffic. You can always download the podcast if you miss anything. That makes it easy for you, right? We're still having a few issues I'm noticing this morning on people commenting on the Alexa app, and hopefully I'm not sending your little machine off talking to you right now by saying that word. But some people had trouble getting the station on those dots and whatever they've got at home. Apparently, it was because of some software update they did do to Alexa. So you have to tell it to stop using Alexa Plus, or you have to follow up your request with on Odyssey. If you're searching for 97.1 FM Talk on Odyssey, that should fix the problem. We're working on an easier fix, but that hasn't happened yet. So I just want to throw that out there. It's always easier on the Odyssey app, or go to 971talk.com, or you can follow us on X, or Rumble, or YouTube, or Facebook, whatever's easier for you. We try to make that as easy as possible. And this morning, we're actually getting back in the show a little earlier than normal because of some satellite issues that we're having here. So I don't know what that's all about, but hey, we roll with the punches around here, don't we, Kim?
We always have to. It's
Kim's
live radio.
Yeah, Kim's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, it is. It's live radio. And we've got Mary Vought coming up from the Heritage Foundation. Mary is fantastic. And among other things we're going to talk to her about it is maybe another scam in Minnesota they haven't even talked about yet regarding student loans. So we're going to get into that and maybe how the media tends to manipulate some of its coverage when it comes to events like, Alex Preddy. just as an example. I mean, the guy's dead, and new reports are out now on how the which agent shot and that sort of thing, but there's no conclusion drawn as to whether it was a proper shooting or not. What's not proper is the guy shouldn't be dead. He shouldn't have been there in the first place, but we've now started to uncover it. Even CNN's admitting he had a history of altercation with the Customs and Border Patrol. So he was an agitator. He was doing this on his own, and I don't know who encouraged him to go there and do it or not, but ultimately it ended up leading to his unnecessary death. And if he'd been on the sidewalk with a protest sign, you can very easily draw the conclusion that that would not have happened for sure. So we'll get to Mary. We're going to get to Tricia Byrnes here in a few minutes. She is a state rep, but she's talking about remote learning. How much do the schools rely on your kids' use of iPads and
Chromebooks,
tablets?
And it's not even just that, where these school districts are more inclined to take a snow day just doing virtual, but then even in school, how much time they're actually spending with a Chromebook in front of their face versus pen and paper like we used to.
Correct. Yeah, and she's got some legislation that would address that. We're going to get to her here at the bottom of the hour. But first, I want to get to the short list, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
All right, that was the scene in Minnesota last night. Yeah, you can hear somebody was dropped a cuss word. Somebody approached Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman from Minneapolis, and sprayed something on her while she was talking. It's the lead story on all the networks this morning. In this day and age, if you get a foreign substance sprayed on you, wouldn't you leave the room immediately? Wouldn't you? To find out what it is, to make sure it wasn't poison or something like that? And instead, she just continued the speech, which has a lot of people wondering if maybe that thing was staged. We don't know that for sure, and they have arrested someone, but weird circumstances up there for sure.
That this is a unorganized, untrained, dangerous force on the streets that has nothing to do with either immigration or law enforcement.
Wow, Tim Walz, how about that? Still on the offensive, still on the attack there, in attack mode in Minneapolis, even though supposedly he's negotiating with Tom Homan. Those negotiations will include either you provide police support for us or we declare the Insurrection Act, if I had to guess.
I don't think it's a pullback. It's a little bit of a change. Everybody in this room that has a business, you make little changes. Bovino's very good, but he's a pretty out there kind of a guy. And in some cases, that's good. Maybe it wasn't good here.
All right, so we'll see if what Tom Homan handles up there that's going to be a little different. But Tom is a bulldog, man. I'm not expecting him to reduce enforcement in Minneapolis. Christian, what's your reaction to the Alford plea by Mr. Howes a few minutes ago in your vandalism case?
Well, the whole theme of all of this it's been about accountability, and there hasn't been any.
That was Christian Kirk. If you'll remember him, he was the guy back in May of last year who had his Tesla vandalized twice in the city of Kirkwood. And we covered that story here on the air. Pretty sure we're the ones that broke that story here. We got Mr. Kirk on to talk about it. And primarily, and I'm with Christian Kirk, and you'll hear this in the interview. There was a plea last night in that case. Finally, 8 months later, and what Christian Kirk said to me was, you know what? If I approached the guy, we've all seen the video. It was on the internet. I shared it on Facebook months ago. He approaches the guy and he goes, "Hey, I just saw on my camera on my car that you vandalized my car. Why'd you do that?" The guy denied that he did it. Well, he's on video doing it, because if you approach a Tesla, guess what? You're on camera. So Christian eventually called the Kirkwood police, who wrote the guy a summons, right, for vandalism, and eventually the Kirkwood prosecutor got around to charging him with harassment. Not vandalism, but harassment, because this happened on two different occasions at the same place. And last night, I happened to be there. I went to the courthouse because, first of all, I can't believe the local media just didn't cover the story. I mean, it's journalistic malpractice is what it is. You're like, oh, it was just a little vandalism case. Why would the news cover it? Well, here's why the news would cover it. Because the backdrop of when this happened, Teslas were being set on fire and vandalized all across the country. And here was a case right in St. Louis in the heart of Kirkwood, and Channel 4, Channel 5, Channel 2 all ignored it. They just wouldn't do it because it didn't fit their politics, period. So I followed the case, and I was there last night. And Bill Howells is the guy's name who was charged in this case, gave what's called an Alford plea. If you're not familiar with that, that is some quirk in the law, and I don't know what law professor dreamed it up or what court thought it would be okay, but it's where you can admit that they have enough evidence to convict you if it went to trial, but you don't admit your guilt. Now, in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of the state of Missouri, this guy pleaded guilty last night. It's an Alford plea, and the judge said to him, "You do understand this is that in the eyes of the state of Missouri, this is a guilty plea. It's called an Alford plea, but it's a guilty plea because they sentenced him to 2 years probation and 25 hours of community service and ordered him to stay away from the victim. In this case, Christian Kirk." And I went to the hearing because nobody's ever heard from Bill Howells. Like, he wouldn't admit that he didn't want to admit that he did it, even though there's video of it. He got this stupid Alford plea. So outside of the Kirkwood building last night there, the municipal court, I tried to ask him a few questions. Clearly, what he didn't want to do was answer any of them. Here you go.
Hey, Mr. Howells, how are you? He doesn't want to talk about it. Marc Cox with 97.1 FM. Are you happy about your guilty plea here, sir? You want to comment on why you were vandalizing people's Teslas? Can you comment on that? Apparently there's video of you doing it elsewhere.
Yeah, Mr. Howells didn't have anything to say. He walked away from me. He asked for a police escort out of the building because, I'm a pretty intimidating guy, apparently. I didn't realize that. All I wanted to do was ask him, hey, are you sorry? Do you have any regret for what you did here? That in your smugness, because you didn't like Elon Musk, you thought it was okay to harass people? He had nothing. He didn't say anything. Then he got in a little Prius and left. So I got to talk to the guy who was the victim here, who's equally disgusted, Christian Kirk. He's like, listen, this could have been over last year if the guy had just said, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. But he wouldn't do that. He would never admit any guilt for what he did, right? And this is what Christian had to say last night. Christian, what's your reaction to the Alford plea by Mr. Howells a few minutes ago in your vandalism case?
Well, the whole theme of all of this it's been about accountability, and there hasn't been any. From the beginning, if the guy had just, done his thing, and then when I talked to him in the coffee shop, if he had just been like, yeah, and maybe admitted it or said he was sorry, then we wouldn't even be here. So it's funny that we've gotten all the way here, 7 months later, and he still doesn't have to admit that he did it. It's just comical.
It is comical. It is comical that the city of Kirkwood in St. Louis County let him get away with that. I would assume in his mind he doesn't think he pleaded guilty, but as far as the state of Missouri is concerned, he is guilty. Well, he's now on probation for 2 years, unsupervised. So I guess since nobody's supervising him, I hope he's learned his lesson and won't go out and do that again, but who knows?
Well, maybe he's learned now that Teslas have video cameras from basically every angle. I don't think the guy necessarily deserved hard jail time, but
nobody was asking for that.
Right, but the Alford plea is stupid. I've always thought it was ridiculous ever since I used to cover trials all the time in Des Moines. It was one of my favorite things to cover. And when someone takes the Alford plea, I'm thinking the person's admitting they're guilty because if there's enough evidence to convict them,
they just don't want to go to trial.
Right.
And for the court, it's a way to avoid trials. They'd rather get a plea than have to sit through a trial for what in this case would have been a misdemeanor charge of harassment anyway. So that's what happened last night. Just wanted to report that to you. I went there to see it for myself. I don't know what this guy's deal is. His attorney, who wouldn't talk, was recording me while I was recording him, trying to ask him for a comment.
When you asked the attorney how he's doing, didn't he respond with Groovy?
Groovy. It's groovy,
That's
man.
the kind of attorney I want. Someone who says groovy.
Groovy, yeah. But he wouldn't talk to me either. So that's what you get. All right. Quick break here. We'll get to Mary Vought. On the other side of this, we'll talk about some more scams going on in Minnesota that we're just now finding out about.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, well, I just had a report, or heard it, I should say, of a non-school bus accident on the eastbound 44 outer road east of Bowles. So we do have crews headed in that way to see what's happening. But 44 itself is great. No delays eastbound from Pacific into downtown. Now, eastbound 64, a little slow out at Prospect, some moderate volume there. And westbound, a little slow at the inner belt. But for the most part, we look good right now. Even on northbound 270, just moderate volume around Manchester. Now, on the Illinois side, northbound Route 3 is... well, so is southbound, but northbound is worse. Jammed at Monsanto Avenue, one of those slow-moving trains. But other than that, we're fine. We look good on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, so I'm looking outside here. Still lots of snow on the ground and probably some on your roof. But here, for the people that have regular paint, regular siding, it took a beating during the storm, right? 2 days, day and a half of snow beating against it. Sometimes we get hail and sometimes we get sleet. If you have Rhino Shield, you wouldn't have to worry about any of that. Now, I'm a satisfied Rhino Shield customer myself. I've talked about that in the past, and they're not putting the application on right now. It's obviously too cold, but here's what Darren does. He starts getting people on the work order, right, for March. Usually March is when the weather mellows enough that they can go out and they can apply Rhino Shield. Let me tell you my experience with it. The crew comes to your house. They do prep work. If there's a piece of wood or something that needs to be replaced or whatever they need to do to, tape things off and get ready for the job. And then they put 2 to 3 coats of this basically thick ceramic a material on your house. It looks like paint, but it's 10 times thicker, and it holds its color. It's beautifully durable, and it covers up brick, unpainted brick. It can seal it up so moisture doesn't soak into it. It seals up wood if you got it on the outside of your house. It's perfect, and you can depend on it. You've probably seen it on HGTV. They've had it on there several times. Call Darren today. Tell him you want to get on the list for this spring. It's easy. Just call him at 877-25-RHINO, or you can check him out online, and you can schedule a call right there at 877-25RHINO.com.
Heidi Ricken Provost of Ricken Financial understands the importance of financial stability in your retirement plans.
If there's something we can do to help benefit your financial future and provide more strength and stability in your retirement plan, that's exactly what we do here. And we do so on a complimentary basis.
Call today, 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at noon.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numb feet, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Patton, D.C. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is nerve damage to the feet and legs.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It's absolutely treatable, and we have amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, coldness in your feet or hands or balance issues, call us at Comprehensive Integrated Health today for a nerve damage screening. The screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our cutting-edge treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 636-538-5188. That's 636-538-5188 for your free nerve damage screening. 636-538-5188.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
Well, we are just finding out more about some of the potential additional fraud that is going on in Minnesota. Kim and I saw this article yesterday on the Daily Signal, dailysignal.com, that now they found out that dead people somehow managed to get student loans in the state of Minnesota. I have a hard time believing this is just Minnesota. I don't think that it could be that coincidental, but we do have our friend Mary Vought on the phone this morning, Vice President of Strategic Comms at the Heritage Foundation. Mary, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yeah, you look at this and you think to yourself, how much worse could this story get for Minnesota? And then I see this story from being reported by Linda McMahon, correct?
Correct, yes. And you're absolutely right. It's not just happening in Minnesota. They found about $1 billion in fraudulent student loans that went to individuals that were not individuals, dead people. It actually went to some bots. And yes, it did go to some people in Minnesota. Under the Biden administration, he only required students, and I use air quotes when I say students, who are applying for student loans to less than 1% of them had to provide an identification. Less than 1%. Wow. So anyone could go on, apply for the student loan, get the money, obviously not use it for education. Absolutely mind-blowing that they found close to $1 billion in fraud.
So if it's going to someone who already died, would then a family member be able to pocket that? And then I wonder what the administration does. You can't claw that back very easily.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. They're looking into how to recoup that money, but it goes to show that only under a Republican administration are we actually finding this fraud. This is happening in the Department of Education. It's happening at SBA. It's happening in other agencies, and it's running rampant. And so thank God for Linda McMahon and finding it, but absolutely mind-blowing that you wouldn't require people to actually prove their identification if they're getting federal funding, taxpayer funding for student loans.
Yeah, well, and I think we can all look at situations like this and agree, if it's that easy to borrow money to go to college, then this is one reason why the cost of college has exploded. The universities don't care what they charge because they know the students want the education and they know the government will give them the loans, and nobody's worried about the consequences 5 years from now when you graduate with a degree that's paying you $40,000 a year and you have $200,000 in student loans. This is a system designed to fail, Mary.
Absolutely. It is designed to fail. It's ridiculous that this has been happening. How come we didn't hear about this in past administrations? And thank God for Linda McMahon. In June, they started implementing that individuals have to show several forms of identification in order to get and qualify for these loans, as they should. But like you said, it's going to be difficult to claw back and to figure out where this money went, who's getting it, and prevent it from happening again in the future.
Yeah, and who's guaranteeing it would be the other question to me. Like, how about requiring, in addition to proving who you are, you tell me who's going to pay the money back if you can't? Almost like buying a house or a car or anything else.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yes.
It's just crazy.
It's teaching irresponsibility for sure.
I'm sure you saw, as Kim and I were commenting on earlier, there's a story out this morning of how, I believe it was NBC or was it ABC? NBC had digitally altered.
MS Now, I thought.
MS Now had digitally altered the photo of Alex Pretty, the shooting victim from Minnesota, and they made him more attractive. I don't know what their goal was in doing that. I mean, but it's you have to question just about everything you see based on who your news source is, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, you need to. There's a great article in the Daily Signal by Brett Buchanan, a friend of mine who's the CEO of Signal, and he's talking about a lot of polling they've done nationwide. Individuals that get their information from mainstream media, legacy media like MSNBC, CBS, ABC, all of those outlets, they're getting unbiased and inaccurate information, just like altering of that photo. I mean, we saw this with President Trump when he was on 60 Minutes and how they chopped up his interview, and then he, decided to sue them, as he should. So individuals that are getting their, and again, air quotes, media from these outlets, they're not getting the actual fact. It's a narrative, and it's a narrative based on a political agenda. And so when you poll them and ask them about the situation in Minneapolis and involving ICE, they obviously have a negative view towards it because they're not getting the actual facts. And juxtapose that to going to news outlets like the Daily Signal, very fact-based outlets that provide you the information and let you choose for yourself what's happening in the situation. They have a different view on what's going on in Minneapolis and ICE. And it goes to show that it's important where you're getting your news and the facts that you're internalizing.
It is absolutely the truth. And there's a video of the woman catching the deployed flashbang device this week. Mm-hmm. And it obviously goes off in her hand and it damages her hand. And that I'm sure that was very painful. But I posted something about that on my Facebook page, and I've got some liberal troll on there demanding that I take it down because the story is not true. She's claiming her hand was hit by some plastic projectile. And I'm like, well, no, I don't know where you heard that from, but you can see her pick up the flashbang like she was going to throw it back, and that's when it banged. And it hurt her hand. So, yeah, you're right. People have got to just wake up and use more than one source for their news. Mary, thank you so much, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. Daily Signal, dailysignal.com or heritage.org to find out more. They do some great stories up there and cover some stuff that you're not seeing in the mainstream media. That's why we rely on them. All right, coming up, State Representative Tricia Byrnes. We're talking about, in some cases, remote learning. Remember what a failure that was during COVID? How far behind it put some of our kids? Well, it's still being used sometimes, and Tricia wants to see some limits on that. So we're going to talk to her about that when we come back in just a minute.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Marc?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Marc found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Marc did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Time to get things cleaned up at your house. Well, I got an idea. Have Zero Res stop by because they do great work, and they can help you get out those pet stains. They can help you where the kids have maybe dropped something. Maybe there's something left over from your holiday parties, or maybe snow and mud that's being tracked in. Time to Zero Resify the house, and they got a great deal going on right now for January. 3 rooms starting at $119, plus they'll do a free hallway, and they got 15% off other things. So maybe something got spilled on the upholstery on your couch. You got a stain you want to try to get out. Maybe you want to get that tile sparkling clean. They can do that as well. They can treat hardwood. That's a great thing about Zero Res. Because there are no harsh chemicals, they can Zero Resify just about anything. Here's the number. Call them. Tell them you want the 97.1 FM Talk special. That's 314-474-2020, 474-2020, online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Good morning, I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. A whopping 14 degrees now coming up on 7:31. St. Louis city officials are blaming commercial truck drivers for running out of salt they were offering to residents so quickly. The salt was part of a pilot program intended to help residents prepare for that snowstorm. The idea was to bring your own bucket to fill up. Well, the city's now planning to tweak the pilot program ahead of the future snowstorms to try to prevent people from stockpiling. A Missouri lottery player is $2 million richer after buying a winning scratcher ticket at an Arnold gas station. The ticket was purchased at that Circle K there on Richardson Road. This winner, by the way, is the second player just this year in 2026 to win at least $1 million in Jefferson County. All right, moving on to sports. Blues lost to the Stars. That's their 5th loss in a row. SLU beat George Washington. That's 14 wins in a row for them. And Mizzou lost to Alabama. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, I just put a post up on X at Susan6768 of 55 at Bayless. because northbound, we've got a pretty good parking lot jam going as you head into the narrowed lanes of the construction zone there. And southbound, you can see what started as a vehicle fire. Southbound 55 at Bayless. No delays southbound. And northbound is really jammed. Now, northbound 270 has picked up volume. Slow pockets anywhere from 55 through 64. Some moderate volume southbound 270 right there at Ladue Road. And eastbound 70, moderate volume, Lake St. Louis Boulevard, a little bit headed for the Blanchette Bridge, and then it opens up. Southbound 61 slowing at 64. Volume there just moderate around Timberlake Manor and the Inner Belt. And we've got some slow-moving traffic on the Illinois side. It's another slow-moving train near Monsanto Avenue causing a delay. But then there was one at Queenie as well. So some slow-moving traffic over there. And if you're headed in from Illinois, we look fine on the bridges downtown and up north. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. If you are thinking about retirement and starting to think, okay, we are getting closer, but I'm not really sure of everything. Do I know how to handle my money in retirement? This is not something we are taught. It doesn't happen in school. Nobody in college says, hey, you know what, take just a class on no, that does not happen. So that is why Financial and Tax Architects was founded, to help people understand how money works in retirement. And if the people so choose, they will sit down with you and come up with a plan that is tailored to you and your needs and your income. So this is what you need to do. Go to one of their classes. It's called Retirement Planning 101. It's just 2.5 hours. It's just one night. But it is eye-opening. You're going to learn most of what you need to know, at least an overview of it. And then you could see how Financial and Tax Architects work, and if you'd like their help. You have to register. Call 314-888-5101, 314-888-5101, and start there.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
You saved money too. With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property with selective land clearing. Whether it's for a building site, pasture reclamation, hunting, or trail creation, Missouri Brush Control can transform your unusable acreage into accessible and productive property. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. 5-star rated on Google reviews. See impressive before and after projects today at MissouriBrushControl.com. Missouri Brush Control, making acreage great again. Tell them Bo Matthews sent you to MissouriBrushControl.com.
Still leading 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So what's the final result there of the COVID years? Do we put our kids a year behind academically, maybe a year and a half in some cases, by forcing remote learning and all this stuff, where we know it inordinately affected kids in primary school for sure. Kindergarten through 5th grade, they don't have the attention span to concentrate and do that stuff at home. And we're seeing the results in education. But, of course, what it did was open up the possibility, because everybody's got a tablet these days, to remote learning, particularly on snow days like we had this week. And I saw State Representative Tricia Byrnes comment on this on Facebook and wanted to get her on the show to talk a little bit more about it. Tricia, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let me read a statement that you put out here to the Wentzville School District. My son will not be sitting in front of a computer all day for this ridiculous AMI day. What's going on?
Okay, so that whole thing, I really shouldn't have just started with that. That should have been the ending piece because it's kind of the principles of it, right? So let's start with where I'm at and what I'm trying to accomplish. And I'm working with a bipartisan team of teachers and experts. I don't know why, you come down here and you get the other side attack you thinking you just are writing legislation in a vacuum. That's 100% not the case. So what's going on is right now, Missouri is ranked 40th for reading recovery. Our scores in reading and math have fallen to levels below 1998. And then when we say that, here's the scary part. The chart started at 1998. So I don't know really how far back they would go, right? It's really alarming. And we're seeing kids that are, what's kind of happening is a cycle. Teachers are getting frustrated. The behaviors are off. The focus is off, right? Kids, it's fully documented that kids are having a hard time focusing. They're having a hard time with more complex subjects, stuff that takes more focus later down the road, and we're seeing it in plummeting scores. So then you have to say, okay, so what is causing this? COVID's over. Why does this keep happening? And I think there's been this backlash almost towards teachers, right? Well, it must be the teachers. But when we really look back, the teachers have been saying since 2011, when a lot of this push towards tech has started, they wanted to remain the leader of their classroom. But we moved all these kids to computers and iPads. I don't think people fully understand that we have first graders and kindergartners being issued one-to-one iPads. We have substitutes going in and reporting that an entire day can be lost where a kid is learning all of their reading and math on an iPad. People think that we're making this up, and it's not. And our problem is we have to look at what the evidence is saying about the computers and the iPads in early education, and the experts are saying that the proof is there. Kids cannot learn on computer screens basic literacy. They need real books. They need pen and paper.
Did you get any reaction? I'm sorry. Did you get?
Yeah, did I get any reaction?
Yeah, from the school district. Yes. I mean, what's their reaction to this? Do they just deny it?
So, ironically, I was on the phone with the superintendent while the general public is supporting and having massive backlash. And I get it because I was there, right? You have this idea that if you give kids an iPad, they're going to learn and they're going to be experts in technology. And it's just not the case. So I'm on the phone with the superintendent. And what he's saying, and he's so right, is that if we're going to go back, because DESE and the federal government played a huge role in this push. You guys remember it kind of started at high school and middle school. Well, now it's all the way down to first grade. Well, what DESE did years ago is they started demanding all the testing be done online. Matter of fact, they made part of the standards is introducing more screen time. There's so many things that we need to undo. We need to go back and look at these standards. We need to bring books back into classrooms. We need to bring back handwriting. We got rid of cursive. That sounds small, but cursive builds neuroreceptors in the brain that lead to improved literacy. The science, again, is all there. Now, here's where I'm saying is like, okay, our scores now for math and reading are now below the national average. It is time to sound the alarms, right? Yeah. We have to do something different.
So this bill,
what we're seeing. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say this bill that you're sponsoring would not only affect, I guess, remote learning on the quote unquote snow days, or I guess not taking a snow day, but in the classroom, it would also
do with the snow days.
Okay, so it would limit the amount of screen time that kids can have in the classroom.
Yes, and it brings back books and it brings back the importance of handwriting. And it's K through 5. That's the other key. So people are commenting, well, my kid in high school, this has nothing to do with your kid in high school. It has nothing to do with you having an online college degree. It's about the fundamentals that we need for literacy cannot be taught as well on a computer as you have with one-on-one with a teacher. So now why am I concerned about the AMI, and why did I even bring that up? So here we are failing kids, right? And now we have this new thing with this AMI where I'm upset with the principle of it, right? Hey, go log into the computer. I have a lesson. The next class, hey, log in the computer, pull down your lesson. And then if you looked at my comments, how many people said, it didn't take my kid all day, it's 20 minutes. And I'm like, so that's the point. We're sliding on the ice and then sending a check to the state and calling it an education day. I'm saying Missouri needs to wake up and start taking the fact that we are failing as a state so incredibly serious that we shouldn't be having conversations about, well, but I don't want to extend the day. And I don't want to extend the day. Why not just have a snow day? Let the kids get 20 minutes, and then we don't have to have it go into our vacation time.
Right.
It's a whole fundamental philosophy. We are teaching kids, hey, just go ahead and do the bare minimum, and you're still going to get fully paid.
Well,
that is what I'm struggling with.
I don't want to throw Ethan under the bus, but you did say off camera earlier that your daughter didn't see a teacher during her snow day.
No.
Remote learning, right?
She basically did what she just said. She had maybe 20 minutes of work.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And then that was it. So is this, do you have this bill scheduled for a hearing? Is it going to get any traction this year?
Yeah, so it's got full bipartisan support.
Good. We
have a lady that's writing a white paper. She said it's this point it's probably going to become a full book because it's gathering all of the data about this topic. But it's going to be the second week of February is when it's supposed to be an education committee. I'm on the education committee. And then my background, the reason why I'm kind of a good carrier for this bill is I have a tech background. I was in tech from 96 to 2022.
Okay.
And 2023. And I also have a master's in education. I've been a longtime advocate for dyslexic kids. And, so they can't say, well, you don't know anything about education. Well, that's not true. I have a master's in education. Well, you're afraid of tech. No, I was on teams that helped invent some of the things that are still working on the internet today.
Well, I'm sure you'll get pushback from the
teachers. That interesting balance.
I'm sure you'll get pushback from the teachers union though on this. Wouldn't you think?
That's what's funny. I think the Democrats think so. Turns out that's not going to be the case.
Oh.
What they're going to be is wildly surprised how many Republicans and Democrats are supporting this. It's just who's going to be the one to stand up and take the arrows and say, hey, we got to turn these boats as fast as possible. I brought this up in 2023. It was going to be a task force because as we were going to soft step this, right? Past committee, but that one didn't get any traction. And so now here we are in 2025. We would have been the first state to start looking at this and looking at the data. Now, if we could get this passed this year, we'll be the third. We have countries in Europe that are banning computers right now because they too are seeing the data that's come out starting about 2020. Then there was a UNESCO report about 2023. And then the data has just been continually rolling in that we're failing kids with computers in early ed.
Please keep us up to date on this as it goes through committee and gain some traction. I don't want to let our time, I'm just about out of time here. I do want to point out you've also decided to run for St. Charles County Collector. Why?
Because I do have a kid that is still in school, and I'd like to spend the last 4 years while he's at home with him. I'm here January through May. I've seen a lot of problems in the collector's office and a fundamentally different policy position than I have. Our current collector said that if you wanted to reduce taxes, get a smaller house and buy a cheaper car. That was said in committee. That's not just being negative. It's her policy position. I just don't think that resonates. So I think I can come back after having a very successful 3 years so far here, and I think I can fix things back in my own county.
All right. Tricia, where can people go to find out more about your campaign then?
You can go to triciabyrnes.com. And Byrnes is spelled Byrnes.
All right, Tricia Byrnes.
Thank you guys for helping us sound the alarms. I appreciate it.
Yeah, a very worthy story. I appreciate your time, Tricia. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Yep. Take care of yourself. Interesting subject there. Somebody on the text line had texted in, there's a good book by Jared Horvath called The Digital Delusion, which specifically talks about tech in elementary schools. So if you're looking for some resources out there, that may be something to look at. What are you talking about, Kim, on a whim?
MS Now is taking some heat because they used AI to digitally alter the picture of Alex Preddy to make him appear more attractive. Well, there's science behind why they may have done that. Have you heard of the halo effect? I'll explain it when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, there is some moderate volume along eastbound 70, and that's as you head pretty much toward Bryan Road. So some slow going at A and Bryan Road. A little bit as you approach the Blanchette Bridge, just kind of pockets of moderate volume. 64, really no slowdowns until you get to the moderate volume around Boone's Crossing through Timberlake Manor and then east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. These are not solid jams, just slow goes. And westbound slowing, Clayton Skinker on out through 170. Northbound 270, almost normal here. Slow pockets between 55 and 64. 55 northbound is jammed at Bayless in the construction zone. And if you're on Route 3 on the Illinois side, south of the Poplar Street Bridge, whether you're going north or south, we have had a couple of slow-moving trains at Monsanto Avenue and also at Queenie, and that has caused major delays. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I'll bet I'm describing some of you when I say that, there's changes you've wanted to make to your home since you moved in, 20 years ago. But you don't really feel like dealing with the stress of doing all those projects, but you don't want to move because you have a really good interest rate. Even though they've come down, it's still not great. I totally get that, but here's the thing. You don't have to move to get your dream home. All you need to do is call my friends at Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're going to handle all those nitty-gritty details that we don't like to deal with because they're stressful. They're going to partner you with one of their very talented in-house designers, right? They're not subcontracting out any of their staff there, all in-house folks who work for them. And they're going to make sure that you get your dream space, whether that be a kitchen or a bathroom, or you want to refinish your basement, which is something my husband and I would love to do. Lakeside Renovation and Design can do all of that. Even outside of your home, they can handle decking, roofing, siding. They also specialize in windows. They actually have a special website, windowsbylakeside.com. You can go look at all the options. They use these Infinity from Marvin windows, and if this is the first time you're hearing about them, these are made with fiberglass. Okay, so they're 8 times stronger than what I would assume is on your home right now, which is probably vinyl windows. These are designed to last, so if you're going to make the investment, I'm telling you, you want to go with a quality product like the one that Lakeside Renovation and Design uses, which is Infinity from Marvin windows. Lakeside, family-owned business, awesome family. Go read the reviews. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. This is a company that's also going to back up their work with a lifetime workmanship warranty. They always have great deals going on. They offer financing, so they'll work with your budget. Go check them out. Specifically, if you need doors or windows, you're feeling a draft coming through, even though you're paying for all the heat, it's just going out. Don't waste the money. Again, call my friends at Lakeside Renovation and Design or visit them online at windowsbylakeside.com.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Mark Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the 3rd leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Annie here, and I can proudly say no more spiders in my home. I use Point Pest Control 4 times a year, and I haven't seen any, not a single one, since they've been in my home. Mention Annie and get 10% on top of any other special. Point Pest Control, 636-798-0023.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
MS Now ended up retracting its AI-altered picture of Alex Preddy, the guy who was shot and killed in Minneapolis, and went back to the original because people did notice some differences. He is more attractive in the
Face
AI
is fuller,
generated.
not as thin.
It's not even that. He's tanner. His features are softer. Even the nurse's outfit. He was an ICU nurse, so even the nurse's outfit was a brighter blue. His jawline was softened. His facial hair was a little bit different.
I didn't see the retraction. Did they apologize for it?
I don't think they went as far as doing
that's
that.
Journalistic malpractice. Could you imagine going to your news director years ago when you were still in the business and saying, hey, I've got this photo of the suspect or the victim, but they don't look too good in it. Can we digitally alter it? I mean, that's not even a conversation you would have.
Well, maybe the executive producer, whoever did that, didn't even say anything about it, just made the change, thinking that they were subtle differences where maybe people wouldn't think that they would do that.
Unless your goal was to deceive.
Well, and that's it, because so many studies have looked into this about people who are more attractive. People tend to trust them more even when they shouldn't. And psychologists have talked about what's called the halo effect. This was something that some psychologists studied back in 1920, where you're looking at someone and just based on how attractive they are, it can make them appear to be more charming, more intelligent, more capable, more interesting.
Sure.
And they even found that even certain words, for example, let's say you find, this is some article that talks about if a bottle of wine, for example, or some food put organic on it, or some wording that made it appear like it had, in this case, was better for you, that people would actually say it tasted better. Even if it was the same wine as something else that didn't have it on the bottle, they would think it was better.
Generally speaking, there are no ugly people anchoring the news.
Well, yeah. I mean, there
television
is something to that.
Figured that out many years ago, right? Absolutely. If you're watching somebody you find attractive, you're more likely to tune back in the next night.
Well, that's why they say that you have a face for radio.
Not you.
Me.
No,
not
Did you
you.
hear that?
No, not
Ethan,
you.
You heard it.
Not you specifically, Mark.
She was pointing at you.
Mark, you were in TV, but they do. That's the joke. So we all know.
I don't think that's very funny, Kim.
I did not point out that to you. It was a general statement. We all know why MS Now did that is because when you see the more attractive picture of Alex Preddy, people are thinking, "Oh, that's so sad. He looks like this all-American guy. These evil ICE agents."
It's about deception, and it's about it's why you can't hate the mainstream media enough in this country. They show you again and again and again who they are by their story selection, by their editing that they did to Kamala Harris's interview because she couldn't string two thoughts together. They had to edit it to make her look more together in hopes that people would vote for her over Donald Trump. We see it over and over and over again. And I don't know how they ever come back from it. They've destroyed their credibility with things like this.
I agree. And it's not going to stop. I mean, even I mentioned something before. Tom Homan, there was a picture of him where they showed the altered image on CNN or something, and they took away the tan on his face and just made him look like a ghost.
Sure.
He looked creepier. He looked meaner.
They did it before the debates in the election when they were previewing the debates. They would have some awful picture of Trump with his mouth open or something, and then, of course, they'd have Harris with some glamour,
fan blowing into her
shot.
hair.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we see it all the time, for sure. All right, well, we missed Jimmy Failla. The snow kept him in New York City. He is coming back in April, and he's going to coming back live at 8:20 right here on the Marc Cox Morning Show. Plus, my friend Charles Payne at about 8:35 to talk about the economy. Stay tuned.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You know, there's a certain way we do things around here, the Grasser way.
The Grasser way?
We don't cut corners and we don't take shortcuts. Not on the little stuff and not on the big stuff.
We do the big stuff.
That's right. Whole home generators that kick on the moment the grid gives up. Lights stay on, heat stays on, your family stays safe, so your house stays warm.
And your ice cream stays frozen.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Wondering if dangerous contaminants are in your home's water? Get Leaf Home Water Solutions today. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make it safer and healthier. Leaf Home Water Solutions is offering a free in-home water test. Just visit leafhome.com/free to schedule yours. With results from their advanced digital testing, Leaf Home Water Solutions can design a whole home system and expertly install it in as little as 1 day. With Leaf Home Water Solutions, you can feel confident that each drop of water from every tap and appliance is cleaner and safer for you and your family. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make our family's water safer with Leaf Home Water Solutions. Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
He's charged with assault. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The man who attacked Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar at a town hall in Minnesota last night. He pulled out a syringe and sprayed something onto Omar. They say smelled awful. She asked for a napkin, and though her staff urged the Congresswoman to go, Omar kept speaking, and her attacker was arrested. It happened hours after Border Czar Tom Homan arrived to oversee immigration enforcement, attempting to calm tension that got even worse with Saturday's deadly shooting of a protester. And Fox's Matt Finn reports from Minneapolis. Homan met with Democratic leaders.
President Trump has laid out a plan for ending the chaos in Minnesota, which in part requires Minnesota to turn over criminals for deportation. But Mayor Frey doesn't seem willing to play ball there, writing, "I also made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws, and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe.
And President Trump just posted on Truth Social that Mayor Fry is playing with fire. The president held a rally in Iowa last night.
12 months ago, Joe Biden handed us a mess.
Touting an improved economy and a closed border, kicking off weekly campaign events, warning if Democrats will undo what he's done if Republicans lose control of Congress in November. Today marks 40 years since a disaster many Americans watched on television live.
We have main engine start.
The Shuttle Challenger made history, launching a teacher into space. Krista McAuliffe, part of a crew of 7. 73 seconds, though, after launch, Challenger broke apart. All 7 were killed. Retired astronaut Bonnie Dunbar flew on Challenger's last successful mission months earlier and tells the Fox News Rundown podcast.
It's horrific. You lose friends. You don't want it to happen, but you don't want it to end your exploration. And I guess that's a philosophy that we've carried with us for, thousands of years?
It took 32 months, but shuttle missions resumed in 1988. America's listening to Fox News.
This President's Day, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
All right, welcome into Wednesday. It is January 28th. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. We're just at 14 degrees now. Our time 8:03. A proposed 16-building data center near Pacific is getting some pushback. Hundreds of residents packed City Hall Tuesday to hear the pitch from the out-of-state energy company wanting to build the $16 billion data center campus on 500 acres along Highway O. Pacific's mayor says a decision on whether or not to approve the proposal likely won't happen until April or May. One of the parking lots outside the St. Louis Galleria Mall flooded after a water main break. Video of the pipe bursting outside Dillard's Tuesday shows massive amounts of water just pouring into that parking lot. Fox 2 reports, thankfully, the rest of the mall was not impacted. We do know that earlier in the day, a water main break forced Normandy High School to dismiss students early, and then another pipe burst shut down parts of Big Bend Boulevard near Manchester in Maplewood. St. Louis City residents say, yet again, it is taking longer than it should to clear the streets after this past weekend's snowstorm. City officials say they're focusing on the main routes first, and then the secondary roads, they're lower priority. Well, residents living in North City tell Channel 4 they think there seems to be unequal services divided along racial and economic lines. In sports, Blues lost again. This was to the Stars yesterday. This marks their 5th loss in a row. I hate to even have to tell you that. SLU, on the other hand, they're having an awesome season. They've now won 14 games in a row. They just beat George Washington yesterday. And then finally, Mizzou lost to Alabama. Final score of that game, 90-64. 14 degrees now, coming up on 8:05. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Stalls throughout the area. Most are not blocking traffic lanes, but there is one reported eastbound 44 past Shrewsbury in the right lane. So just take care through there. For the most part, we've just got moderate volume out there this morning along eastbound 70, mainly at 370 and approaching the Blanchette Bridge. 64 has some moderate volume in pockets from Clarkson through Big Bend. Westbound slowing near Hampton through the inner belt. Northbound 270, slow pockets 21 through Ladue Road. 55 northbound, that's jamming around Bayless in the construction zone. There's a little bit of slow-moving traffic westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. And northbound Route 3 is just jammed. Well, southbound is slow as well, but northbound has most of the volume right now at Monsanto Avenue. One of those slow-moving trains that just go back and forth. Oh, it's mind-numbing, but it's really causing a delay over there. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
The snowpack and the northwest flow. It is really cold going out the door this morning. Lots of sunshine today, about 29 for the high. Tonight, some clouds. It's cold, 9. Thursday, a mix of clouds and sunshine and very cold. The high Thursday, only 20, going down to 2 Thursday night. Friday, partly sunny, 15 for the high on Friday, in the 20s over the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
8:07 our time right now, sitting at 14 degrees downtown at the Arch. As always, you can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any of our other shows here on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, first of all, our apology to Mama Kay, who is on the Facebook feed here all the time, wanting to know why we didn't check with her first before we rescheduled the Jimmy Failla concert, because apparently the new date may not work.
Well, had we known that, we probably would have made sure that he came in. We should tell him that today.
Yeah, we will. We're going to get to talk to Jimmy here in a few minutes. Of course, the storm delayed his concert. It was supposed to be Saturday night, and we've had to move it to, I think, April 11th. Am I correct
it's a Saturday.
on that? Yeah, it's a Saturday, April 11th. He'll be back at the Factory, and you can use your tickets then to see him. Hopefully, we had nothing to do with rescheduling it. To be honest with you, the Factory rescheduled it along with Jimmy's people, and of course, we're going to be part of that when we bring him back. So we're anxious to hear his take on being snowed in New York City over the weekend, which is his home. So he shouldn't be too depressed about all of that. He's going to be joining us as he always does at about 8:20 this morning. So that's what we've got ahead for you. Plus Charles Payne, and I'm going to get to more on this in a minute in the short list. But Charles has got a town hall meeting that's happening tomorrow, where you can join this thing separate from what he does on the TV side, and you can get educated on this market, which, according to him, is going to be on jet fuel, he thinks, this year. And it's already done really well. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But Charles sees great things in store here. So I'm looking forward to hearing his complete thoughts on that this morning at about 8:35, because he's one of my favorite guests. He just makes it all so understandable. Plus, he's helping people on his show every day there with confidence and in what to invest in and how to make money. And I mean, he's a great guy. He really is. We're going to get to that for you in just a minute. First, though, Ethan, I want you to go ahead and get to those top stories for me, please.
The Marc Cox Short List.
In this earlier incident, he stopped his car after observing ICE agents chasing what he described as a family on foot and began shouting and blowing his whistle.
Geez, CNN finally telling the other side of the story on Alex Preddy, the guy who got shot in Minneapolis by Customs and Border Patrol. He was already encountered CBP about 2 weeks ago, ended up with a broken rib in that altercation. Then he went out and bought a gun, which he brought to the next protest, the one where he ended up getting shot to death.
That this is a unorganized, untrained, dangerous force on the streets that has nothing to do with either immigration or law enforcement.
Says Tim Waltz, who quite possibly during the presidential campaign had one of the most uncomfortable to watch experiences, where he tried to convince you that he's an outdoorsman. Remember that? He looked like Barack Obama trying to hoist a gun to his shoulder. It was pathetic, but he's telling you that Customs and Border Patrol is not trained well enough to do their jobs.
Under my leadership, economic growth is exploding to numbers unheard of. They've never had them before in recent times, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, the president on the campaign trail, he's not running for office, but he desperately wants to keep Democrats from taking control of Congress because we've seen that crap show, and we know exactly what will happen if this bunch of Looney Tunes gets in charge of the House again. They're going to launch investigations, and they're going to try to impeach people. I mean, it's just nothing's going to get done. So he's got a very short window here to try to get some stuff done before midterms, and that's what he's been out on the road doing. Wait a minute here. Hold on just a minute. Here we go.
He is funneling millions of dollars into the United States of America through 501s like Party for Socialism and Liberation, Democratic Socialists of America, Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. There he is, okay? Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy.
Yeah, how about that? Bill O'Reilly sounding the alarm last night over people who were funding these agitators up in Minnesota. I can't believe there's anybody listening to this program, but we do have a few trolls on here that we get to educate every day on the Facebook page and YouTube that I see. Who believes that what's going on in Minneapolis on the streets now, in some cases 24 hours a day, is organic? Is there really anybody left dumb enough to believe that these are just concerned citizens out looking out for their community? No, they're people who have been, in many cases, paid, in other cases encouraged, in other cases trained. And where's the money coming from? Now, supposedly Kash Patel and the FBI are looking into this. There are the usual suspects, the Soros family and others who we know have been sending money in the past to Black Lives Matter, Antifa, other groups like that, the Summer of Love in 2020 when they were blocking off downtown Portland. And all of that stuff was paid for.
Indivisible is another big one.
Yeah, bought and paid for. What about Minnesota right now? Because we know there's other money coming in, and we've already heard the Chinese are fueling part of this because they want to see chaos in the United States. So then O'Reilly talks about this story that I've not heard anybody else talk about a guy named Neville Roy Singham, Singham. He lives in China. He was born in the United States. He's a tech billionaire, and he is using his money for pure evil. Listen.
There is a man in Shanghai, China, an American citizen. His name is Neville Roy Singham. He works with the Beijing government. He is funneling millions of dollars into the United States of America through 501s like Party for Socialism and Liberation, Democratic Socialists of America, Minnesota Immigration Rights Action Committee. There he is, okay? Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy. He is funneling money here to these radical organizations who are then agitating professional people, communists mostly, because Singham's a communist, all right, to go in and foster rebellion. You heard that story reported? That is absolutely true. The man has been investigated by the FBI in the past, this Singham character, okay? This isn't some organic thing.
No, it's not. It's very intentional, and you're talking millions of dollars. He is spending millions of dollars to stir unrest among, in many cases, the unwitting in Minneapolis, because I know a couple of them. I know a few people that live up there that truly believe this is some grassroots effort by Minnesotans who think they're different than everybody else for some reason, that this is just their good hearts that are causing this, when we know it's being paid for by outside agitators.
Well, even this morning I was looking at a video of protesters wearing matching black T-shirts that said Hilton houses ICE agents because they're mad. Remember, they went and smashed one of the hotels in Minneapolis where they were, I guess, staying. You think hey, I'll take a large $50 for the t-shirt. I'll Venmo you. That's not happening. Someone like this Chinese guy, they're pouring money in.
And passing the shirts out.
Exactly.
Yep, whatever it takes to instigate is what they're doing. By the way, he was on with Leland Vittert from News Nation last night. O'Reilly was, and we're hoping to get Leland on the show. We're working on that. Because he's a St. Louisan, and he's doing some great work over at News Nation. So we're going to try to get him on for sure. All right, quick break. Jimmy Failla, the one and only, on the other side of the break.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, it's been an interesting morning. We had some action early on the roads, and then things calmed down, and we just are left with mostly volume. Now, eastbound 70 looks great. Forestville into downtown. 6440, though, some slow pockets anywhere from Clarkson through Big Bend. Westbound slowing Clayton Skinker through Hanley. Northbound 270, slow pockets of mainly moderate volume between Gravois and Ladue Road. Southbound 270, a little slow at Ladue Road as well. 55 is looking better northbound at Bayless, but still some slow-moving traffic there. And northbound Route 3 is jammed, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. Just some moderate volume, though, for the length of the bridge westbound. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
You bet, because I can tell you one reason why you can start packing when you call Gloria. 314-325-6888 is the phone number you call. You're not under any obligation when you do that. That's the great thing about it. Maybe you're just considering what the market would look like. I talked to Gloria last week. She was here in the studio, here in the station, and we were talking about the housing market. And she's like, well, we have a lack of inventory. What that means is there aren't an overwhelming number of houses on the market right now. If you're thinking about selling, this is a great time to get your house on the market, because there are people looking and they don't have there are people looking and they don't have a lot of resources. There just aren't a lot of houses out there. So call Gloria, have this conversation with her, and tell her you heard Marc Cox talking about it. And she'll guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. Here's her number, 314-325-6888, or go to gloriahasthebuyers.com.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis, at 314-260-6120, or visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Golden Oak Lending, we were just talking about real estate a minute ago. If you're thinking of buying a new home or you're thinking of refinancing, listen to the words that are about to come out of my mouth. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.5%, 4.5%. Other lenders are talking about high interest rates, but they're not taking action. Golden Oak has dropped its rates. You can lower your monthly payment. You can get cash out of your home. You can pay off credit cards. Best of all, you have no mortgage payment for about 2 months. Call them today, 314-567-GOLD. That's how you get started, or you can go to goldenoaklending.com. I applied for mine right online. I did everything online, in fact, when I refinanced with them right up to the day of closing, and apparently they would have sent somebody to my house to close, but I went to their offices to do it. You wouldn't have to, probably. 314-567-GOLD. The average cash-out customer saving $1,100 a month. How? Well, they're not sending that money to a credit card company. So it's money that goes back in your pocket, plus you've refinanced at a 15-year rate for 4.5% for 15 years. That's a 5.442% APR. It's a 15-year FHA loan, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply, but it's out there for you. You just have to call them and take advantage of it. Again, 567-GOLD is the phone number. You can get your cash in 7 to 14 days pretty easily. NMLS number is 114937.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is St. Louis conservative.
Hey, girl. Jimmy Failla in the house from Fox Across America.
Jimmy, we've been missing you, my friend. Where you been?
Trapped at the airport bar.
I'll bet you were. Everybody here was very bummed. They kept saying, when's he coming back? And now we got to push you off to April, I guess, huh?
You know what it reminds me of? If you remember, there was this famous boxing match where George Foreman was going to fight Muhammad Ali, and it got postponed down in, where were they, in Zaire?
Yeah, I think
and
so.
Everybody had to wait like an extra month and a half, but it wound up being a much better fight. You know what I mean?
I think Foreman was injured or something, wasn't he? Wasn't that what happened?
Yeah,
I can't
it was
remember.
something like that. I think he got hurt trying to shake down their government for extra cash or something. But the point is, I'll be in town in my fighting trunks April 11th. We'll do the damn thing.
We will. We're looking forward to it. I had to eat all the food I had lined up for you. I mean, you just didn't show up, so. I'm just kidding you.
I think Wardrobe staged, the Fox Wardrobe Department staged the blizzard because they didn't want me getting fat on the hill. But the joke's on them. We're coming back.
I had people coming out of the woodwork from the hill, and there's a local company here called St. Louis Kolache. Have you ever heard of Kolaches?
Yes, holy heck! Come on, talk to me.
Yeah, well, they were gonna provide kolaches for your show, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. The wardrobe department called me and said he's watching carbs, so we got to be careful here.
You know, I'm not even kidding. You know who's eating kolaches? Jenny Failla.
Oh, really?
She's been out there. Yes, that's the first time I heard about them. Is Jenny coming back? Because Jenny and Lincoln were there, and they went to see, I told you, Yogi Berra's house.
Yes.
Yogi Berra's obviously a Yankee icon, and they were up on the hill, and you know, there's like an elementary school and a park right over there in that neighborhood. And yeah, I went on a tour with them one time. The second time we were there, and I even went to Wentzville. I think I told you this.
Yes.
I went to Chuck Berry's house. So come on. So when I tell you, like, I have skin in the game, this is like the one gig I want to go to. You know, you wind up doing a lot of gigs, you know, where they're sending you all over the world. St. Louis, I genuinely love, okay? So, like this week, I was supposed to do a New York City show, but they decided to send me someplace safer, like Baghdad. So I don't know what the heck's going on.
You know, I've heard him say there's no crying in baseball. Is there crying in comedy? Is that a thing?
No, the Jimmy Kimmel thing is so embarrassing, man. You don't understand. I mean, you do understand, but I'm just saying, phrase of speech is that having a late night comedy show is the most rare thing in show business. There's like 2 of them on TV, maybe 3 if you consider it comedy. But the point is it has a very specific purpose, which is laughter. It's like, imagine if you called up the pizza place. You're calling because you want pizza. You don't expect boneless Chinese spare ribs to show up, but that's exactly what's happening. Kimmel's running a pizza place that doesn't bring you pizza.
He gets way too political now, and I think people are sick of it, but his ratings are they're awful. They're in the toilet.
Yeah. You know, and you want to know something that you're right about? It's getting past political. It's purposeful. Like, you can make fun of politics for an hour a night. If it was funny, we'd get it. But the minute you halfway through the joke, or what you think is a joke, go, and this is why you can't vote for this man. Yes. You're not a comic. And it's so embarrassing. Like Stephen Colbert did this last night. He did the whole secret police are attacking people. And I'm like, is ICE really a secret at this point? They're the number one trending topic in the world. People have apps to track their activity. I don't know that we're keeping this secret very well, liberal comics.
Right. No, it's true. And I saw a comment from his wife. Kimmel's wife is from St. Louis. And she went on a podcast somewhere and was talking about how basically disgusted she was with her relatives. She had relatives here that she didn't talk to anymore. That she just and I'm like, wow, man, you're alienating a bunch of your crowd, because Carson never did that. Hate to keep going back to that, but I watched some clip on YouTube one day or Facebook of Carson and some of his favorite guests like Carol Burnett and Jackie Gleason and all this, and those were the golden days, baby.
Yeah, it was just comedy. And, he wasn't expecting the viewers to, live their life on behalf of his worldview. That's the Kimmel era. Is like, imagine his wife. So his wife's like, I'm excommunicating people because you don't vote the way I want you to. Like, imagine, like, the average person doesn't have the luxury of voting based on whether it hurts a millionaire's feelings.
Yeah.
They're voting based on, like, crime and the economy. But they're like, no, Jimmy's wife was getting an 8-handed massage, and we wouldn't want her to be upset while they were feeding her the caviar. So we're going to forget our views on the economy. Like, what a bunch of tone-deaf idiots.
Why don't they just take a tip from you, because you've made fun of both sides, and then Trump even said that you were funny. He posted about that, yeah.
Yeah, Trump shouted me out on a night I was making fun of him in my monologue because he understands real comedy, and everybody keeps asking me that. They're like, wow, is that so awesome getting a shout out from Trump? I'm like, yeah, it's really cool to get a good tweet from Trump, but it also reminds you that you're one joke away from getting a bad tweet from Trump.
Yeah.
Wild place to be.
Ask Kristi Noem or any number of people in the administration who are keeping their heads down these days, right?
You ain't kidding. Defense wins championship.
All right. Jimmy Failla, the 11th of April at the Factory. If you bought tickets already, if not, you can still find them at 971talk.com/events. Have a great week, my friend. Thank you.
You guys are the best. See you soon.
We'll see you. All right. Jimmy Failla there, live up in New York City, having a good old time. He should have gotten to the Mom Donnie snow shoveling thing.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Kathy Hochul out, the governor up there, trying to teach people how to snow shovel. Are you kidding me? Now, she's from Buffalo. She might actually know how to do it. And Mom Donnie's never gotten a callus on his hands in his life, for sure. All right, coming up, Charles Payne. President is out campaigning right now about how great the economy is. Wait till you hear what Charles has to say about it. Coming up.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
All right, coming up here on February 17th, you have an opportunity once again to get together with us, those of us here at 97.1, and Bob and Tammy Kershaw out at the Doubletree in Chesterfield. That is right off 64 and 40 out there at the Chesterfield Parkway. It's easy to find. A little different location. Oftentimes it's at the Frontenac Hilton, but maybe they needed some more space. They're out at the Doubletree Chesterfield, and we'll be there. It's free. It's at 6:30 on Tuesday the 17th. So mark it in your calendar and plan to go. Come and hang out with your spouse or a friend who's either at or near retirement who needs to maybe learn a few strategies to protect your pile of money that you put together from the market. Because we know market losses happen from time to time, right? if you can't suffer through another one of those because you're already at or in retirement, that's what they talk about here. So call them today. Go to retirementkey.com and tell them Marc sent you.
I'm Nicole Murray with your money now. New York Mayor Zoran Mamdani says the city's wealthiest must pay more in taxes to help fill the staggering $12 billion budget he was left by his predecessors. SoftBank Group Corporation is in talks to invest as much as an additional $30 billion in OpenAI as the Japanese conglomerate doubles down on its bet on the ChatGPT owner. The fresh investment would form part of a funding round that could raise up to $100 billion for OpenAI, valuing it at about $830 billion in total. The Financial Times reports Elon Musk's SpaceX is weighing a mid-June initial public offering, aiming to raise as much as $50 billion at a valuation of roughly $1.5 trillion. The reported fundraising target doubles prior reports, positioning the rocket and satellite company's listing as the largest in history in terms of deal size. Futures are currently mixed. Tuesday, the Dow Industrials lost 408, the Nasdaq up 215. That's your money now.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, if you are just headed toward the office, things look okay on northbound 55, a little slow at Bayless in the construction zone. Northbound 270, slow pockets north of 44, up through Ladue Road, and southbound slowing at Ladue Road as well. But 70 looks great. Wright City, just a little bit slow at Lindbergh before it opens up into downtown. And 64, really just some slow pockets east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. We've got some volume on northbound 55, which is also eastbound 44 after their split, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. Some moderate volume westbound on the bridge itself. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Most of us spend decades saving for retirement. That is great. But few of us really ever learn how to turn those savings into lasting income, which is the entire point of retirement. You have got to know how to make your money last. And that's where financial and tax architects come in. They will teach you in a class called Retirement Planning 101 exactly what others often miss. How to avoid hidden tax traps in your 401k or IRA, how to make smarter decisions about Social Security. And it's only one night. It's 2.5 hours. It's free, but seats fill up fast. So you do have to register. And you can do that at FTA-RIA.com. FTA-RIA.com. Now, besides learning, what I think is great is you see how they operate. And you can then decide, yeah, these are the people I want to work with. And they will sit down with you and come up with a plan. So you'll know you can make it through retirement with your money.
Extreme cold weather coming in through St. Louis this mid-January probably. If you're having issues with your furnace, give me a call. If you're told you need a new furnace, without a question, give me a call. You'll be happy you did. We're all the same when it comes to like buying a furnace and air conditioner, just like with pretty much anything else. If you're like me, I want a furnace that heats, and in the heat of summer, I want an air conditioner that works. Pretty much simple. So is a more high-efficient air conditioner or more high-efficient furnace give me more heat, more cooling? No, it doesn't at all. It gives you the exact same. So with that being said, you need to call me. Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or you can do the online thing, and it's Bart Inman, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
From the gateway to the airwaves, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Under my leadership, economic growth is exploding to numbers unheard of. They've never had them before in recent times, and now, and we're just getting started. You know, the great, big, beautiful bill, which is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. Do we have any seniors in here? Do we have any seniors in here? One of the fake news said, he did that because he doesn't want to pay tax on his Social Security. Don't you believe? That's what I never thought of. These are sick people.
What kind of a country we want to be going forward?
Charles Payne, host of Making Money.
I want to be that country that was number one, really enjoyed being number one, and did everything it could to stay number one.
All right, great to have our friend Charles Payne back. You know, Charles, I think it might break the president if he owed money on that 30 or 40 grand a year he gets in Social Security. What do you think?
You know, you could always get a job, a side gig, maybe at a hot dog stand or something like that.
McDonald's.
I was going to say he has experience
at
at McDonald's.
Experience. Yeah, exactly.
He's a fry guy. Listen, I saw your comments yesterday. I don't know if it was on Hannity or what, talking about this economy. So I'm reading headlines on Fox Business like consumer confidence plunges and the Fed is still going to pause rate cuts. And yet you're looking at a banner year for the stock market.
Well, you know, one thing we have to distinguish is what they call hard data versus soft data. So surveys are soft data. They're not based on numbers. They're based on opinions and emotions. And I can tell you right now, you know, it's unfortunate, but I think these consumer sentiment readings, whether it's sentiment or confidence, just reflects more of a broken nation. You know, if you look at them, let's say, you know, as soon as one party takes over the White House, they flip-flop immediately, you know, and so you've got Democrats who have the lowest consumer confidence in history, lower than COVID, lower than 9/11, lower than the great financial in history, you know, and then, of course, independents are usually in the middle, and then conservatives are at the top. So, you know, the hard data is looking really impressive, and that's what we're talking about. Really, what's happening on the ground now, from a political point of view, you've got to deal with the emotional side of this,
right?
And you know, you don't want to make the mistake that Biden made, because Biden was telling people things weren't bad when they knew it was bad. I mean, we had a spike in inflation to 40-year levels. Like we thought we'd never have that kind of inflation problem again, and he brought that upon us. You know, with all of the trillions and trillions of dollars, unaccountable money that just sent prices high, because inflation 101, too many dollars chasing too few goods and services. So, so yeah, the President Trump's got to deal with the emotional side of it, but the factual side of it is that inflation is coming down dramatically. The numbers will be reflected in more of the official government data, but other data that's really good, real-time stuff looks phenomenal. Rents are down 5 months in a row. And, you know, listen, remember it was eggs at the beginning of the year, then it was this, and it was that. Well, all of that stuff has come down, but there are things that are up that, you know, it's financial services. You know, that's tough. It's hard for the president to deal with those things, insurance costs. But he is trying it, and things are much better than the sentiment numbers would suggest.
Yeah, which I'm assuming is what you're telling your investors, right? Because even though PE numbers might not be up, the strength of consumers buying is there, right?
It's just last year I made people more money than in my entire career. This year I'm already ahead of that pace. I mean, this morning the stock market, and by the way, your audience, they never look at the Dow. Leave the Dow alone. I hate that we use an FBN. It's dumb. It's stupid. This economy is exploding. Right now, you've got stocks up. The Micron Micron is founded in Idaho, right? And here's the ironic story of Micron. Micron saved the semiconductor industry, and how did they save it? A guy named J.R. Simplot, who grew up, he was 14 years old, running around barefoot, had no money, broke kid, started working for this farmer, rancher, and the rancher was an alcoholic. He eventually left the farm to the kid. The kid grew up big time. He ended up getting a major contract to sell potatoes to a company called McDonald's. And the rest is history, right? So, but some guys came to him in the late 70s and said, we started a computer chip company. He's like, I don't know nothing about it. But he applied the same business thinking to that. And so Micron, and he was the one who convinced Reagan to levy tariffs. Now, it's so funny because last year a lot of people played this tape of Ronald Reagan saying he hated tariffs. He did, but he did levy them on semiconductors, and they lasted 5 years, and it saved our semiconductor industry. So I think it's amazing. You've got a company like Micron that right now many are saying is the next NVIDIA. And so we've got these amazing stories going on right at this very moment that are amazing, and no one will report on them.
Yeah, the messaging will be key here, especially ahead of the midterm elections. I'm curious, Charles, to get your take on some of the things that Trump has talked about wanting to do with this whole affordability crisis that the Democrats talk about, one of which involves, I think it was the executive order he just signed related to preventing big companies from buying up the single-family homes. And the other one is trying to cap, and I don't think anything's been done with this, but wanting to cap credit card interest at 10%.
So let's take the first one. You know, I like what he's doing with PE companies. Unfortunately, they're not buying as much as they did, but they do move the needle. Wherever you have private equity going and buying, prices do go up. I mean, listen, they take these houses off the market and they make people pay rent, and people get caught in these rent traps, and they never end up owning a house. And, you know, you'll see a lot of charts saying, well, they only own a small sliver. They bought in the areas that were most attractive, particularly a couple of years ago. Right now, the impact will be smaller. But here's the thing. We want housing. When housing starts to get hot again, you know, when we get these mortgages, and I think the sweet spot for the mortgage rates are probably in the mid fives, right? They don't have to go much lower than that. We saw when they just tickled 5.9, 5.8 or whatever. The low sixes rather. There was a massive refinancing boom just instantaneously. So the main point, though, is like if we can keep them from next time housing gets to a point where it's attractive, not jacking up, you know, artificially jacking up. People were losing out on homes that they've had their eyes on for years to these PE firms that never even saw the house, you know, bought it sight unseen and outbid everyone. So I like that. You know, it's a lot. It's a big market. It's not going to move the needle as much right now. The cap on credit cards, I think, is intriguing because credit card companies, I think it was Capital One the other day, the CEO said there would be a recession. They're threatening America, saying, hey, if we got a cap on credit cards at 10%, we'll kill this economy. And I think it's despicable. In 2013, the average credit card rate was 12.5%. So we're not talking about much more than where it is right now. When yields went up and money markets went through the roof, these same banks, they weren't paying people 5% on their CDs.
Yeah.
So it's just one of these things where. You don't. On one hand, you worry about a president doing that, and the wrong president coming in and saying, I'll do, using sort of what they call a ham-fisted approach. But I do believe this is an emergency situation, and I do like that they're throwing some trial balloons out there. The 50-year mortgage, I think, was a no-go. I don't want to see people taking their 401k and putting a down payment on a house. So there's some no-goes in my book.
Well, people appreciate hearing you on this program, and we feel lucky when we get you these days because you're so busy. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central Time, you're hosting another town hall, right, on the Business Channel?
I am. This is going to be huge. And here's the thing. It's everything I just kind of talked about, Micron and some of these other names. All of this is around the AI revolution. and the data center stuff. And, we're spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars to teach computers what we know. Think about this for a moment. We're taking all the knowledge that we have and we're putting it into the computers. And then, of course, the idea is to rely on them. And my thing, particularly for investors, but for everyone, this should be the year of human learning. We should double down on what we're learning. People aren't reading books. We're now, even adults are starting to fall behind on these tests, these cognitive tests. We already know, even before the AI boom, that our kids, every 2 years they do this big test of the 16-year-olds around the world and advanced nations, and we've collapsed in math and science and reading. So it was already a crisis in my mind. It's going to be a further crisis. So we'll talk about the importance of, hey, let's make this the year that we double down on our own efforts to learn, especially if you're an investor, because the edge that it gives you is enormous.
Yep. UnstoppableProsperity.com is your website, but people can actually watch this on the Fox Business Channel tomorrow during a special edition of Making Money with Charles Payne at 1 o'clock Central Time on Thursday. Charles, thank you. Great having you back.
Miss you guys, man. Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. We'll see you later, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, bye. Yeah, good guy. Just breaks everything down, and I'm sure that's going to be very informative. All right, good. We're going to get to a quick break here. Remember Christina Bobb? Christina was one of the president's attorneys. She was at Mar-a-Lago when Merrick Garland sent in the troops to raid Mar-a-Lago. Well, she was also involved in the election cases out in Arizona, and she had some breaking news that I had not heard yet that she released yesterday. We're going to get to that when we come back. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Oh, we are looking good on the roads. We had an earlier stall eastbound on 70 near 270, and then they said close to the Rock Road, but it's caused a little bit of a delay that is thinning out, and then things open up into downtown. Now, 64, mostly moderate volume in pockets east of 270 through Big Bend, southbound 170 slowing at 64. And northbound 270, we're left with just some moderate volume, and that's approaching Manchester up through Ladue Road, and then it looks better. And northbound 55 is slowing, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. Pretty quiet on the Illinois side in general, including the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
So I'm talking to Matt Hayes one day. He's the foundation expert over at Home Shield Foundation Repairs. Oh, by the way, he's also the owner of this small family company, and he's telling me the reaction he gets from people when they call, that it's almost like they're hesitant to call the phone number because all they see are dollar signs, and they're scared to death this is going to cost them a fortune. But your home's your biggest investment. And he's like, listen, I need people to call me if they've got water in their basement or a leak so I can get over there and fix it quickly before it gets worse. Those leaks never get better. It's never going to, it may stay the same for a long time, but it's never going to get better. Call him at 314-271-9900. Let him come over and take a look. And he's going to be honest with you. I mean, if he can fix it by sealing up that crack, that's easy. You get your lifetime warranty. He moves on, and maybe it's something more serious. If you've got a leaning or bowing wall, you got to get that addressed. But the good news is he uses Invisibeam by Fortress. You get a manufacturer's lifetime warranty from that. So get it taken care of and trust that Matt is going to give you the best information you can get. 314-271-9900, online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
2026 is an election year, and 97.1 FM Talk will be your home for every twist and turn in the 2026 midterms. 97.1 FM Talk. Keep it here for radio coverage that's 25 years strong.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy weight gain or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, there's some interesting news coming out of Arizona, and I don't know if this is something that you've seen or you've been tuned into. Remember, there was a lot of allegations back when the election took place for governor there and senator in the state of Arizona, and the question at the time was about whether or not there had been any fraud, because if you'll remember a bunch of just oddly enough, a bunch of the machines all quit working on election day. Like they had close to 300 of their machines suddenly stopped working on election day. And Christina Bobb got out there and got involved in that. At one point, they tried to charge her with some sort of wrongdoing. The Maricopa County Board of Elections was all up in arms and defensive over this. And a whistleblower has now come forward and said it was a lot worse than anybody thought, leading one poster to point out, I think it was Lara Logan, that I don't know if it was Laura Logan. Anyway, whoever posted this said that you've got a situation out there where it's pretty obvious now what happened, and nobody's talking about it. Here's what Christina Bobb had to say about it yesterday. Listen. I don't know why that's not working. Hang on. That time, Ethan, it was my fault. Sorry about that.
Saying that the error that occurred on Election Day, because we saw how many Republicans were disenfranchised because over half the machines broke on Election Day, that error was intentional. You have a whistleblower from Runback, the ballot company, that says approximately 300,000 ballots were illegally inserted into the tally, not coming from drop boxes, not coming from polling locations, but just being brought in by employees, not within the lawful chain of custody. I mean, there's so much evidence in this case.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see where that goes from here now that they actually have somebody willing to come forward and testify like that.
Well, that's the hardest part, is finding someone in any of these cases who's willing to testify and go public about it.
Well, and we haven't heard anything else about the Venezuela angle. And I keep waiting for that shoe to drop, because remember when they brought the Argentine, the Venezuelan president up here, they're like, hey, listen, there's evidence that some of the original plans to infiltrate and massage the data coming out of these machines originated in Venezuela.
Well, they have the software.
And that it was brought to the United States and it was doing the same thing here.
Well, I thought that. So was it for sure that they brought it to the United States, or would they have been able to remotely do this with the software in Venezuela?
No, I think it was in the machines and it was
That
in
they
the
brought over
software
here?
that they developed that was then used here. That there was basically a back door in there. Now that's what they've got to go to court and prove.
Right.
But if you've got somebody who was involved in it, who can testify to it, so we'll find out. Christina, I've got Christina's phone number. We need to call her and try to get her back on the show to talk a little bit more about that because it's that could be potentially a huge story. By the way, I will point this out. We're still taking nominations to feed our first responders. You can go to 971talk.com/contests and submit a name. I think we're going to deliver some food next week to our next lucky winner. And tomorrow, we are going to start talking more about that trip to Switzerland that I'm going to be taking next September 30th. And it's already that you can already book the trip. We are having a meeting later in February that we'll start talking more about for people that still want more in-person information. But you can go to our website, 971talk.com/events, and you'll see the Travel with Marc Cox on there. We're going to go to Switzerland for 9 or 10 days. It's going to be fantastic. You need to get on board early. This thing's going to fill up is what's going to happen. So don't waste time if you're thinking about doing that. All right, Kilmeade's up next. Have yourselves a great day. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.